Welcome, everyone. I hope everybody's doing well today. I want to go ahead and acknowledge the fact that today marks 6 months since Summer went missing. And I really hope that we get answers soon regarding that. Yeah, you like that intro, Cherry? You like those credits? Yeah, so 6 months since Summer went missing. Yeah, it's frustrating. Besides there not being any answers right now or anything like that, I think also what's really frustrating is the circus that it's become, and the YouTube creators that have made it just a dumpster fire of misinformation and rumors spreading, and exactly what Sheriff Lawson asked us all not to do at the beginning of this case. So it's really frustrating. Yeah, it's Christmas time. I thought I'd change things up a little bit for the holiday. So yeah. So yeah, thanks guys for the compliments. Today, let me just go ahead and play this. No, not that. Get out of here. Get out of here. What do you guys think, man? Beard or no beard? Like, thinking of growing it long, but I never have the patience for it. You know what I mean? Like, this is about as long as I can handle it. Jesus, damn it. Oh my God, here comes Cherry with the, oh, here it comes. I did that to myself. So yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I feel like it feels so dirty. Like, I could shampoo it like 10 times a day and it would feel like, I don't know what it is. I don't know how people do it. I don't know how people do the long beard, So I don't know. We'll see. The only reason I still have it is because I can't find my clippers anywhere. That's really all it is. Well, thanks, Oscar. Appreciate that, buddy. I know, but it's like it feels gross, dude. Like, I don't know what it is. It just feels dirty to have a big long beard on my face. I don't know what it is. Anyway, all right, this is in Spanish, but I'm going to translate it. Thanks to Ames. My Spanish sucks, but Ames is pretty fluent, if not very fluent. So she went ahead and translated this for me. All right, so we're going to go ahead and play this.
Secuestrada por su padre durante 5 meses, ya fue entregada a las autoridades en Estados Unidos. Al parecer, Sophie Long sufría de violencia por parte de su madre y su padrastro. Esta es la historia y la crónica completa.
Subiendo un puente internacional, escoltada por 3 mujeres del Instituto Nacional de Migración, una niña estadounidense de 10 años, usando una chamarra fluorescente, se acercaba al límite internacional. Del otro lado la esperaban los Marshalls. Se trata de la pequeña Sophie Long, que el pasado 12 de julio desapareció de Texas al mismo tiempo que su padre Michael Long.
Okay. I mean, that never gets easier. That never gets easier.
Algunos videos fueron subidos a redes sociales, donde decían que la niña era maltratada y abusada por su padrastro. Por eso su padre la tomó y huyó con ella. El sheriff del condado de Collin, en Texas, pidió ayuda al FBI y los Marshals comenzaron la búsqueda. Fue este 11 de diciembre, 5 meses después de su desaparición, que los encontraron en México. El boletín decía: la oficina del sheriff del condado de Collin confirma que Sophie Long ha sido localizada en un país extranjero y está bajo custodia y protección. Se hacen los arreglos necesarios.
Fue a las 2:30 de la tarde exactamente que aquí arriba del puente internacional Reforma fue entregada la pequeña Sophie por el Instituto Nacional de Migración a los Marshals de los Estados Unidos.
Cuando cruzó el límite fronterizo, Sophie caminó hacia un vehículo oscuro donde la iban a resguardar ya en territorio estadounidense. Mientras las camionetas de los federales regresaban a Texas ya con la niña, a mitad del puente, agentes mexicanas de migración y un marshal intercambiaban los documentos legales de la entrega. El padre de la menor, Michael Long, continúa detenido en un lugar de nuestro país. Reinaldo Lara, Fuerza Informativa Azteca.
All right, so that basically just said during 5 months that she was handed over to the authorities in the United States, apparently Sophie Long suffered from violence from her mother and stepfather. This is the story and the complete chronicle. Climbing an international bridge escorted by 3 women from the National Institute of Migration. A 10-year-old American girl wearing a fluorescent jacket approached the international boundary on the other side. The marshals were waiting for her is about the little Sophie who disappeared from Texas on July 12th at the same time as her father, Michael Long. Some videos were uploaded to social networks where they said the girl was mistreated and abused by her stepfather. So her father took her and I with her. The sheriff, Collin County in Texas, asked the FBI for help, and the marshals began the search because on December 11th, 5 months after her disappearance, they found us in Mexico with bulletins, said the sheriff's office of Collin County confirms. Wow, Ames, I love you, but you gotta brush up on your punctuation. Like there's like no punctuation here. I don't know where a sentence begins and where it ends. Collin County confirms that Sophie has been located in a foreign country and is in custody and protection. The necessary arrangements are made. 2:30 p.m. exactly, that here above the International Bridge, Reform was delivered to the little Sophie by the National Institute of Migration to the U.S. Marshals of the United States when she crossed the border on her way to the dark vehicle where they were going to protect her already in U.S. territory, while the vans and feds returned to Texas already with the girl in the middle of the bridge. Mexican immigration agents and marshals exchanged the legal documents of the delivery. The father, the minor, Michael Long, continues to be detained in a place of our country, Reinaldo Lara Aztec Information Force. Okay, so yeah, so that's interesting. The big question remains now, what's going to happen to her? The big question is, where's she going to end up? Because at this point, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. We don't have any answers right now as far as where Sophie's going to end up and who she's going to end up living with. But one thing that I got to say, though, is this is what we've been wanting as far as coverage goes. So it's mainstream media. So mainstream media is finally picking up on this, and I realize it's Univision, but Univision is like worldwide. Like every Spanish-speaking country has this. I'm sorry, I have background noise. Um, yeah, so I'm concerned about what's going to happen with Sophie, but at the same time, this is a good thing that there's national news coverage. Fox, all the local Fox stations. So all the local Fox stations have been covering this, and to me that's a win because this needs national attention. What we need is for there to be a focus on Collin County Court in Texas. So if we can finally get that, that would be great. Now, you know, so anyway, uh, what we've got is what we need right now is 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 mainstream media coverage for this thing. That's been the biggest problem because if Collin County Court, we all know that this case was handled in the most irresponsible possible manner. Nothing made sense. Every transcript that we went over, I mean, even people who are not in support of Michael and feel that Sophie was not being totally truthful have covered this and even looked at the transcript and said, what is going on with the court? Like, how are they getting away with this type of irresponsible behavior and the kind of decisions that Judge Wheelis has been making? So this is really, really the only chance that we have to actually make a difference here is for mainstream media to pick this up and uh, for mainstream media to pick this up before the word begins. And so there's eyes on that court. Um, because changes absolutely need to be made. Positive changes need to be made. And if all of those transcripts that I've read, the affidavits, the depositions, um, I truly feel that if that got mainstream media attention, uh, people are going to look at Collin County Court and go, "What is going on?" It's not my mic. It's my computer. It's my computer. It's not my mic. Um, it doesn't matter, Sherry Thomas. You're saying isn't the mom and the boyfriend? You're saying Kelly and Jake aren't they separated? Well, yeah, but I mean they do this all the time. They break up, get back together, break up, get back together. It's a completely toxic relationship. It's absolutely toxic. And and the kids suffer for it. Already their child, um, already the child that the two of them have together has already suffered physical injury from their fighting. Um, and that's exactly what's going on there, Christine Source. I mean, that's exactly what's going on. We saw, I read a deposition thoroughly on here where it was a clear cut case of a woman choosing her man over her own children, um, and and really not having any regard for their safety, and even admitting that the environment is toxic for them. She even admits this under oath in a sworn deposition that the environment is toxic. Hold on. Let me refresh it. All right, is that any better? Can you guys hear me better? Okay, good. So we heard Kelly's deposition where she even admits, and this is in Michael's case. This is her custody fight with Michael over Sophie and the boys. So it's obvious that even Kelly even acknowledges that the environment that she would provide for these kids is toxic. And the thing is I don't feel, even if Jake is not in the picture, right? Even if Jake is not in the picture, I feel that she's the type of mom that would just put her kids through this all over again. I feel that she would, I feel that she would just make poor choices. And I don't think that these kids are better off. What I really wish would happen, what I really truly, with all my might, wish that would happen is that this gets so much attention that a stable family will be willing to step up and file for adoption. And I don't know if I don't even know if that's even possible. I don't even know if they could. I mean, I would urge someone to get an attorney, someone in Texas to get an attorney, a family attorney, and see what their options are. At least get a consultation from an attorney and see what their options are, because I just don't see. I don't see Sophie being in the best possible environment. Now, if it boils down to between Michael and Kelly, definitely Michael. First of all, she's happy with him. Second of all, she has a bedroom in her grandparents' house. You know, she has a roof over her head. She has food. She's fine. She's well taken care of by her dad. There are opinions I have of her dad, but I don't think that he's a bad parent. I think he just makes really strange decisions regarding his lifestyle, and I think that it's detrimental to his case when he makes these decisions. He doesn't have the freedom to just do whatever he wants in a case like this. When your daughter's safety is on the line, I don't feel that you have the luxury of dating your community managers online and having these online relationships. I mean, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with having an online relationship. I'm just saying it was about the worst timing ever for him to engage in whatever he was doing, because Courtney was in his corner. Courtney was doing God knows everything, right? I had an email exchange with John Long, and he even agreed with me that Michael is more of the have a girlfriend or a wife and have her take care of these kind of things for the most part. He's definitely that guy. But you can't just keep switching them up. If you're going to be that guy, and I'm not blaming him for that. I'm that kind of guy too, man. I prefer an assertive woman who can take care of things a lot more thoroughly than I can, because I'm super disorganized. So, I mean, ask my mods. You know what I mean? Like I can't, I'm just a super disorganized guy. So I would prefer to have someone do things for me that are more organized. And so when you have this going on and you're in the middle of this very, very, very important custody fight, and then you go and start dating someone online while your wife is God knows where, that's not productive to the children, because the children are the ones that are missing out. Like the whole court just looks at him like he's a joke, like he's just this ridiculously toxic person, because he seems to be more worried about his social life. And I'm not saying that's the case. I'm saying that's the way it appears. And he can't afford to have that look. And which is why I dropped him. That's why I was like, dude, I can't help you. I can't speak for you. I can't speak up for you and advocate for you when you're not even doing the simplest thing, which is just shut up and stay off social media while you get this done. I'll do the talking for you. That's, you got me here. I'm doing it. You know what I'm saying? And all I'm asking you to do is shut up. You and your girlfriend, shut up. And they won't. They won't. You know what I'm saying? They keep showing up on panels, and it's like, it's not exactly confirming the bad things that are said about him, but it's definitely not helping. Well, okay, great. He's willing to go to jail for her. Awesome. So he's willing to go to jail for her, and now he's in jail. And what good is that doing Sophie? Because I said this. I said I cannot get behind you. If the way it looked, the last I checked, and the way that I saw it, and we all saw it, was that the police, law enforcement, was not actively looking. I spoke to a sheriff on the phone. They were like, "There's no Amber Alert. There's no Amber Alert because we don't feel that Sophie's in danger." Actually, his exact words were, "We don't feel that Michael falls under the category of what would require an Amber Alert." So basically, in not so many words, he doesn't feel that that he's a danger. Police, law enforcement did not feel that Michael was a danger to Sophie. But you also can't cross the border illegally. And that's basically what took place. And now Sophie's being extradited back to the United States, but who knows who she's with? Who knows where she is? What's going on? And this is an issue. This is a serious, serious problem, because now she's caught up in the system. But the question is the system better than being with Kelly? Is the system, I'm going to go ahead and go out on a limb and say yes, considering everything that we know about Kelly at this point. She's just simply a toxic person. The thing is, it should have been handled better. It should have been handled better. Plain and simple. It simply should have been handled better. It doesn't make any sense to me. It didn't make any sense to me why he didn't go through different options. I'm sure if he was sitting here, he would say, hey, well, no, being separated from my daughter is not an option, but being separated from your daughter is exactly what just took place. It's exactly what just took place. So now what? Now what? Where does that leave Sophie now? I agree. Let me see. Thank you so much, Dee Marie. Both parents need to prioritize their babies. Yeah, I agree with you completely. Oscar, thank you. I appreciate it. But it's now we've got Now we've got this mess. Now, okay, congratulations, Michael. Now you've proven to the world that you're willing to go to jail for your daughter. But if you're the best option for her, what the hell? You know what I'm saying? There should have been things there should have been things done more appropriately, in my personal opinion. There should have been different options. There should have been different options that should have been explored. Not, hey, you'll never take me alive kind of crap. And I don't even think that's the case. And that ridiculous post from Courtney saying that Michael taught her how to use a rifle and told her and basically told her that to have a standoff with the cops and not to be taken alive. That's crazy. Nobody would do that. There's nothing about Michael that would indicate to me that he would ever do that. Nothing. There's not one thing about him. I have my opinions of him and how he's done things, but there's nothing to indicate to me that he would make that sort of decision, that he would train his daughter how to fire a gun and shoot at cops. That's insane. That's insane. It's not true. There's no way that that's true. There's no way that that's true. There's no way that that's true. It's like, I mean, I certainly hope that the feds investigate. I certainly hope that the feds investigate. And I hope that this is looked into. I hope that the Collin County Sheriff's Department is looked into. I mean, the bottom line is we just can't ignore all the facts. We can't ignore all of the documentation that we've seen. We can't ignore all the proof. We can't ignore the fact that a Collin County or a Frisco police officer tried to intercept evidence from being taken. We can't ignore that. I mean, the fact that that's just acting like it didn't even happen when we heard a recording of it. We heard an actual recording of an off-duty officer trying to stop evidence from being collected in Sophie's SA claims. That is grossly disturbing, in my opinion. And everybody should be upset about this. Everybody should be freaked out about it. And yet, nothing. I mean, you can trust cops. You can, because they're not all like that. I'm not trying to sit up here and talk about how that's the whole point, is I want to trust the cops. But when you have cops like that, it makes people feel that way. It makes people write hashtags like that saying that you can't trust cops. And I'm not going to sit up here and say that you can't trust cops. I'm not going to say that. But I'm saying there's something seriously wrong. They're not all corrupt. Only some of them. I mean, but that, whether it was negligence or whether it was corruption, that needs to be looked into. And that can't be overlooked. I mean, there's serious breach of ethics there. Yeah, I mean, there's just a horrible misplacement of ethics that took place when, I mean, he straight up lied and said that there was what 10 exams or something like that. I can't even remember. It's been months since I listened to that recording. Yeah, the Collin County Court needs some serious looking into. That needs national attention. All eyes need to be on Collin County Court right now, because there's no reason why Michael should have been sentenced to so much jail time, first of all, and there's no reason why he should not have been granted when he requested and filed for it, there's no reason why he shouldn't have been granted a jury trial. You can't just throw somebody in jail just to throw them in jail. That's a complete violation of someone's civil rights. Yeah, no, I agree with you. I agree with you. I think that he got mixed up with some of the wrong people. And things just got really ugly. I've never seen so much toxicity come from a case in my life. Josh was live. The Dad Challenge podcast was live the other night because Katie Joy from Without a Clue, whatever her, she ends up trash talking him, just for God knows what reason. But he made an incredible point. And I don't think that he's even watched any of my lives on this. And he was saying everything that I've been saying. He was saying everything I was saying. You know, we haven't even talked about it, to be perfectly honest. The most that we've exchanged as far as talking about this case has been everybody, all the adults have failed this kid. All the adults have failed this kid. Every adult in this kid's life failed her. And that's absolutely true. That's 100% true. I mean, yeah, you know, I mean, you got Katie Joy going on and spreading a bunch of misinformation, and it's the truth. Every single person. Oh, welcome, Oscar Garcia. Good to have you as a member. Thank you. And Dee Marie, thank you so much. Thanks for keeping it 100. Happy holidays, everyone. Happy holidays to you. Everyone failed this kid. You know? I mean, okay, like I get it. I get that, you know, I get that he, you know, filmed this video and he puts it out on the internet and it goes viral. And as it should go viral. People need to know what's happening. People need to know. I mean, can you imagine that? Can you imagine that? I mean, I can't imagine my daughter being in a position like that. And I mean, at 9 years old, she's in this horrible position. It's a nightmare. And there's nothing, nobody's helping you. Nobody's helping you. It's a nightmare. Yeah, I think that Collin County needs the most looking into. Absolutely. Collin County needs the most looking into. The judges, the amicus attorneys, the guardian ad litems, everybody needs a microscope on them. Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, look at her now. I mean, like, what did this guy think? You think you're just going to cross the border to Mexico and, you know, that's it? You're free? No, man. And then this fool's in Mexico and he's acting like he's living it up and he's posting, you know, he's playing guitar and whipping his hair around. You know what I mean? And like, like that's, what do you think you're doing, man? Like, you think you're just going to cross the border over to Mexico and it's all good? You're home free? No, man. No. People are going to come looking for you. You got a child with you. You got a child that you lost all your parental rights to. You think they're just going to let that be? No way. No way. And I urged him on this channel, on a live stream. I urged this guy. I was like, dude, what you should do is just turn yourself in and then start over. Figure out what your options are. Figure out what your options are sit there in jail if you got to sit there in jail, but figure out your options. Hopefully that's what he's doing right now. But I think he's still in Mexico. and he's in some Mexican jail. That's got to suck. Like, I can think of about a billion places that I'd rather be than a Mexican jail. Sorry, but yeah, the same rules don't apply over there as they apply here. And Michael's awful pretty. You know what I mean? So I'm worried about him. I don't think he belongs in jail, much less a Mexican jail. But yeah, I worry about him. I don't think she's back with her aunt. I don't know where she is. That's the whole thing, is we don't know where she is. We know that U.S. Marshals took custody of her. We know that, but like I said, there's a lot of mainstream media attention on this now. It's not as much as I would like there to be, but let's hope that it picks up. Let's hope that this story gets around, man. You know. All right. Good night, Christine. What we need, yeah, man, we need this story to get around like Cherry does. I'm going to hell. I love you, Cherry. You know that. That's what I'm worried about. I'm really hoping that they don't. I'm really hoping that they don't give her over to Kelly. I'm really hoping. Oh, I'm not going to lose her. Me and Cherry is like this, son. Okay? Somebody wanted to come on panel, man. I'm gonna go ahead and open up the panel. Why not? Please. Yeah, trust me. Cherry can dish it out. Okay. That's like, it's one glarer and like to Cherry's like 35. So calm down, people. Okay. Calm down. Oscar Garcia, anybody can come up. But I'm really hoping that you'll keep the conversation on the topic at hand. I would really appreciate that if you do decide to come up here. Well, somebody earlier said that they wanted to come on panel because apparently they have a case going on. The same. Oh man. Okay. What's up, Mr. Harland?
Hello. I seem like a regular here, but that's all right.
Yeah.
What's
up, man?
Jesus. Nothing much. Oh, besides work, nothing much. Then again, happening to relearn, well, I've always known this, how to dodge tornadoes. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, we had some tornadoes going on out here.
I was at work when it happened.
Yeah, yeah, we lost our power for a little bit, but that was the worst that we got it. But man, yeah, people died, man.
Did you hear about that Amazon warehouse up in Illinois? It got cut in half. It was a big old Amazon warehouse up in Edwardsville, Illinois. It got cut in half.
Wow. Yeah, that's going to affect
6 people were killed in the collapse.
Wow. Yeah, that's terrible. Yeah, Flower Child, I'm gonna go ahead and agree with you on that. I don't think that I mean, but who knows, man? I mean, that's in theory, that's what they're saying they're going to do. But
Jesus.
I mean, the court just seemed to be completely like working in her favor. I mean, they were about to lift. We read the transcript. They were about to lift the injunction that Jake can't be around the kids. That
How
judge
did
was
they
going to
catch
lift that.
Michael? I wonder myself. I wonder how they caught him. Did they just set a nice table with some food and then have people around it with tranquilizer guns?
Knowing
No, they caught him.
knowing Michael, he found some podium somewhere and just started fucking preaching, talking, and drew a bunch of attention to himself. I mean, he was doing that anyway, like posting stuff online, like, you know, like nobody wants to hear you play guitar, dude.
If you're a vigilante,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Even if you're some guy on the run, you have got to be the dumbest person of all time. If you're on the run with your daughter, regardless, you don't post all this crap. You playing the guitar, I think you suck at it. Sorry. And your hair, you need a haircut, man. Good God. Hair metal, dude, it's over. It's over.
Like every time I saw this, dude, some post, somebody, because God, man, it never fails. Somebody always sends me something, right? I don't belong to any of the groups or anything. You know, somebody just always sends me something. And then, you know, and this is me every time, just like, come
occasionally,
on, man. Like, come on. Like, I don't, you know, and I want to help them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, I can't help nobody who's not helping themselves.
Nope.
You know, I just can't.
Occasionally, I'll get the regular DM on Twitter, and I'll just read it, and yet it's in a different language. I don't know it. I'm like, delete. And then I'll get one in English. It says, hey, you got to come check out what's her face, Bullhorn Betty, what she's doing. I'm like,
Bullhorn
who's just sending me this crap,
sucks, bro? Yo, let me tell you something. That lady sucks. Like, I watched about 5 minutes of one of her own live streams, and I was like, this is an awful, awful person. She's just a bad person, straight up.
Oh, she's bad.
Like, yeah, this whole thing, everything going on with Summer Wells, like now it's just a circus. Like, you got
it's a circus.
Yeah, you got Big Juicy's in the airport doing a live stream, and then she's just dragging Jay is for Justice through the mud. And so they're turning this into some sort of, you know, ridiculous. They're just making a joke out of the whole out of the whole Summer Wells case. It's sad, you know, like, I mean, like, just pure drama. And you know, like, I have my share of drama. You know what I'm saying? I get it. I've had my share of drama. I'm not, you know, but the thing is like, but I don't intertwine that shit with a case of a missing 5-year-old kid. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy to me, you know, like talking about how Jay got somebody swatted and blah blah blah, and I'm just like, what does this have to do with anything? You know what I'm saying? Like, what is it? I don't, you know.
I remember when swatting was a big thing.
Right. Yeah.
You could just be watching someone in a live stream, and then you either hear someone knocking, banging on the door, or you hear the door get broke down, and then you see all these men in black running into the room.
It's insane. These people call CPS on each other.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's insane, man. It's completely and totally, you know, that's why I say the drama channels have no business covering these things, man. They don't have any facts. They don't, you know what I mean? Like, they don't go over any facts, nothing. You know, and then they yell and scream at each other on panel like a Springer episode. And it's like, dude, like, yo, have some self-respect at least. You know what I mean?
Reminds me of Maury Povich.
Like, you're gonna sit there and you're gonna trash Don and Candace for behaving in a not so classy manner, right? You're gonna trash them for that, but you're behaving in the same way, if not worse. And you're up there like trying to throw them under the bus and have them arrested for God knows what. And then you're going to disrespect the grave of Summer's grandparents, you know, and you're implying this is what is hilarious to me. Like, I mean,
God.
hilarious in a not so, you know, funny way, but you know, they're sitting there and they're acting like I mean, it's disgusting what they said. They said, you know, there was this little structure that was built around like near the grave or on the grave,
saying her body was in it,
and saying that her body was scrunched up in it, and yet they're walking all over it. It's like, dude, it's if you're saying that her body's in there, like it's a crime scene, stupid. It's a crime scene, you idiot. Like
now you're tampering with evidence.
Right. You're contaminating a crime
they're
scene.
So
you're
stupid.
Contaminating evidence.
They're going to think you did it.
Like,
like you're stepping all over it, you're touching it, and they're like, then they're going to think they did it.
So stupid.
Because they're going to find their evidence, their DNA all over her body.
Yes, Mandy, you're the reason why I think you're the reason why I put the link in the chat. So yeah, you're welcome to come on up.
Come up.
Here, I'll drop the link one more time.
Use that magic. Oh, it's so raspy. It is windy here and it's cloudy, and I'm like, where's the storm they were talking about? Where's it at? Where is it at?
It's been it's been sunny here. It's December and I'm in Tennessee, man. Like winters get cold here, and it's been like 50 or 60 the last couple days. I'm just like, what? Like I go to the gym and I'm wearing a t-shirt, and you know.
The worst winter I ever saw here in Missouri was in 2013 when we had a polar vortex, and we had 6 inches of snow at best. And the next day, we had to figure out a way to shovel the driveway. We now have 2 SUVs, but we used to have 1 SUV and a minivan. We still have the 1 SUV, but we had to figure out a way how to get this minivan out of the driveway. But the problem is the SUV behind it had a dead battery. So we had to go have someone bring us a battery, put it in, pull that vehicle out first. But then we had to come up with something interesting. Well, because the minivan is a forward wheel drive vehicle, we had to get some straps and we had to pull it out as best as we could, little by little, and then eventually we got it out. But that was like the worst winter I ever had and I ever saw. Crazy.
I was born in St. Louis, man. Like I remember winters in St. Louis.
Complete whiteout.
Dude, yeah. Like there was, snow would get, you know, those were the best Christmases. Like
that's the best Christmas right there.
Yeah, I was a little kid, and we had great Christmases in St. Louis. It was fantastic.
Yeah, the thing I always knew growing up, usually when there's always a severe thunderstorm warning, there's usually, and I've always said this, there's usually always going to be a tornado warning following it. It's always that. Either that or a watch.
Right. All right. So we've got, hold on, let me bring her up. How's it going, Mandy?
Hey, how are you, Will?
I'm doing all right. So what do you got to say about all this?
So I've been trying to listen to everything that's going on. It's just so much stuff. But I do want to let you guys know, like, I've been dealing with Collin County since, I'm trying to get where you can see me. I'm sorry. Since 2008, I've been dealing with Judge Cynthia Wheelis, who's the original judge out of the case that Michael Long's been dealing with. And I do know there's a whole lot of corruption. I mean, people don't realize what they're hearing. Like they think that these things are not happening, but they really are.
Well, like for example, what type of corruption? What were you dealing with?
So let me just tell you this. My recent case that I've been on since 2019 or early of 2020, I just got kicked out of the case today. When I filed to go pro se.
Okay.
I got kicked out of the case having no standing for this case. I've had a child, I should say actually children, in Judge Cynthia Wheelis's court, okay, back in 2010, 11, and 12, where they had cried out like Sophie did. They made claims. And one of my children was sent to a sex offender program, and she had to sit and listen to sex offenders talk all day about what they've done to their victims. Then the other child, SA, was told that they were crazy and then sent to a home to be discovered if they were bipolar or not, while they got tortured and raped in there. And no one has had to answer to this ever.
So wait, so you're saying that both children are victims of SA, and
Yes.
and so
Well, there's actually four. There's four children, but
why would a victim of SA have to sit in a room full of offenders and listen to their stories? That doesn't make sense. What type of program is that? What's the purpose of that program exactly?
It was to be therapeutic, supposedly, to help them understand why people have been.
Right.
How?
It don't sound like therapy to me.
That could possibly be therapeutic in the slightest bit.
It's not. I'm gonna go. I'm over here in Texas, and we got a lot of wind, so I'm gonna go inside. Sorry.
Okay.
Oh, we got lots of it here in Missouri as well.
Yeah, it's really
Heard out Florissant was topping at least 80 miles per hour.
Yes. So
and somewhere down Hannibal, 100.
And so the other child got put in the system, and then they ended up getting becoming more victimized.
Yes, both of them. And since the one child, I'm not going to say their name, obviously, but they're an adult. Every time that they've had a child of their own, they've been taken out of Dallas County where we live. And we live in Dallas County, and they keep coming over here and taking her kids and then putting them in Collin County in front of Judge Cynthia Wheelis. She continues to have all the cases. They have pressured her to give up her rights. She was in Collin County Jail, which is my fear for the Michael Long story, because while my daughter was in custody in Collin County, she went in there pregnant. She came out not pregnant. She was locked down 23 hours a day when she tried to do appeals on her case in Collin County out of the 417.
Okay, but so how many? I mean, how many judges are there in Collin County?
There's several, but Judge Wheelis is the one who handles sex trafficking court. She handles all the juvenile cases, and she handles all the CPS cases, to my knowledge.
So she handles the trafficking. That's insane. So why? Wow. It doesn't make sense to me that there would be that there would be this one judge who handles that alone. I mean, I guess that kind of makes sense, more or less. I mean, I just don't know how things work, so I'm not going to question that so much. But what I'm going to question is I'm trying to understand what kind of therapeutic program this is, where you put a victim.
That's not therapy at all.
With a bunch of offenders who are in reform. It doesn't make sense. How is that therapeutic?
She's an adult right now, but this court has traumatized her. She has been put through the system. She just can't get out of it. It's traumatizing. I mean, she had to sit there and listen to people who committed crimes against children or whoever they committed a crime against. She had to sit there and listen to it. I have a piece of paper where I picked her up for a furlough, where they had it listed as a sex offender program because my child was put in there, even though she was just a victim, where she had to listen to sex offenders all day.
Well, it sounds like they treated her like an offender.
They did, because she made an outcry. She was raped when she was 8 years old. She was beaten. She was tortured. And recently, she was actually attacked by a step relative.
Okay. And you're
And no
saying that
one
she was also trafficked?
My daughter was actually kidnapped when she was 18 years old, and
Okay.
she was human trafficked, and she actually ended up in jail because of it, because she admitted that she knew what was going on, but however, she was trafficked. There was actually a missing persons report. There was all kinds of stuff. But prior to that, she was victimized. She was raped at 8 years old. She was put through a lot. And she made outcries like Sophie did. Well,
Right.
the judges in the 417th court, there was actually another judge that would handle Cynthia Wheelis's in the juvenile detention center. They just placed her into a sex offender program. They placed her into stuff like, I mean, you can't do that to a child. Like, I mean, they didn't care.
No,
They make you pay
no, they
child
don't.
support too, by the way, when your kid's in there.
I mean, I can understand they make you pay child support when your kid's in there if they take them away from you because you're unfit. I understand
Right.
that.
My child was never taken away from me. My child was actually not part of the state's custody. She was in juvenile for being a runaway, and that's exactly how it started. But she was never taken, and I have a court order where the 417th court even told her as a minor that she had to go get her own lease in her name, utilities in her name, and that she couldn't live with anybody that had criminal history or any kind of CPS history as a minor, or they would take her child away from her and open up a case against her. I have the paperwork to prove it.
And you
And
said
they sure
earlier that
enough did.
she
What
was
the
pregnant when
hell?
she went into a facility and then she was not pregnant. What does that mean?
Oh, so last year in 2020, she went into Collin County Detention Center and she was pregnant, and she came out not pregnant. She was
I
about
don't
6 months.
Well, I mean, she has to know what happened to her baby,
She knows,
right?
she knows what happened, but
So what
they
happened?
will not. She lost the baby in there, and they disposed of the baby, and they refused to answer to it. And they also, I have a recording of them where they said, well, she was acting up, so they threw her in solitary for 23 hours a day. She said that's not what happened. Then one of the guards from Collin County Jail came to my home and told me that she witnessed everything. And she, in fact, told me that my daughter's rotator cuff, or rotator, is that how you say it?
Rotator
Is
cuff, yeah.
Rotator
broken.
cuff.
Yeah, it's broken or fractured to this day. They gave her no medical attention or nothing. And I recorded the entire call with the officers over there. They said that they didn't know what I was talking about. It was only after my daughter asked to go to the law library to appeal what Judge Wheelis's court did to her by having her sign her parental rights away that she got locked down 23 hours a day. She lost her baby, and she was denied medical attention.
How did they get away with that?
They just
Like,
do, because I don't know.
They
That's the
must
same
have some
question
sort of
we have.
network where they're just getting away with it and keeping it on the down low.
There was another girl here in Collin County. I don't know her name, but she went public on Fox 4 News that she had the same thing happen to her. This was months and months after my daughter. So there was another woman who lost her baby in Collin County. We've also had quite a bit of deaths in Collin County Jail. My daughter was actually calling me on the phone crying because she had to clean up all the vomit and stuff from the person that died. But they
why
didn't
did
put
she
that
have
in
to
the
clean
news
that up?
because they made her do it. It was her duty. But you didn't hear about it on the news because Collin County doesn't like to show what's really going on. It's been our nightmare for, like I said, since 2008. It's just been a nightmare.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, there's some skepticism in the chat about what they're hearing, but I mean, you got to
Certain
admit, like,
things
what
can't be mentioned.
Yeah, you got to admit that
Or else you
a
risk
lot
getting
of
in
this
trouble.
stuff is really unbelievable. Like, it's literally unbelievable,
And I
and I'm not
agree. But
right. That's
walking
what
my
I'm
truth.
saying is It doesn't mean that she's being untruthful. It means that what's happening. I mean, obviously she wouldn't be up here talking about it if it wasn't something that was completely
Most of the
outrageous.
stuff I'm hearing sounds like it's out of a movie. That's just crazy.
Right.
I actually got a recording of my daughter tonight. I was actually going to go live on my own YouTube, and she actually made a recording for me to approve to play on mine because she wants people to know what's really going on. And the crazy part is, yeah, it seems unbelievable. I wouldn't believe it too if I hadn't been walking in these shoes, but it's the truth. It's the truth. And as hard as it is to believe, it's really happening. There's so many people in Michael Long's case that are the same people in my case.
Right.
I've dealt with the same people as him.
Yeah, there's another person named Angelina who is dealing with the same thing, and she'll text me stuff. But the thing is, and I want to help her, but the problem is I'm just not. I don't have the means to help her. What she needs is to speak to an attorney. She needs one of these channels like Ricada Law or Uncivil Law. I recommended Uncivil Law. He's today he was covering the fact that Derek Chauvin had pleaded guilty. And he seems really knowledable. And he
thought they already had that case done.
I think it's another. I don't even know. I think it's another charge. I don't think it's a George Floyd thing. I honestly don't even know. I haven't been watching the news.
I had an attorney who said they were willing to help me until yesterday when they withdrew from my case. It was an agreed decision. A motion to strike me from the case. I've been in the case for 2 years with my current case in Harland County.
Well, what's your position in the case? Like, what kind of case is it?
I'm an intervener. Been trying to get my granddaughter out of the care of illegal immigrants. The Harland County courts placed my grandchild with non-family members who have no citizenship in this country or a green card, and left her there for 2 years. And they're still forcing the biological family that's been found, which is the father's family, to share custody of my grandchild.
How's that possible?
But they won't allow me. That's
How's
what
that possible? How can someone be a foster parent recognized by the system, by the courts?
We want foster parents
if they're not legal, if they're not even legally here.
Okay, that's the thing. They're not foster parents. They said they were related. The guardian ad litem in the case went out there, did an expedited home study, approved it, and the judge even said a DNA test needed to be conducted on the family prior to that and everything, but that no court order needed to be made if he approved it. And so he placed the baby over there, and then CPS and everybody basically didn't do a DNA test until 6 months after the baby was in the care, which makes them in Texas what's called kinship. So once you have kinship, then you are actually related to the child, even if it's not blood.
That doesn't make sense.
It doesn't, but that's what's happening.
And then it's your granddaughter, so they kind of kicked you out of the whole equation. They're saying
me out today after 2 years of being on the case. My granddaughter will turn 3 in February.
What was the reason for doing that? What did they say the reason was for doing that?
They signed, the Judge Cynthia Wheeler signed the paper today saying that I do not have standing.
What does that mean?
I've been on the case. That means I have no standing as a grandparent. I have no right to intervene, is what they said.
But there has to be a reason for that.
That's the only reason. They say I have no standing.
No, but what's the reason for you not having any standing?
They said I have no standing. My daughter had signed termination papers a while back, but that's challenged because my daughter was taken from Harland County Jail for a total of about 8 to 9 hours, deprived of food and water until she gave up her parental rights on paper she scribbled her signature because she didn't want to do it. She was
What?
also told that she would see her child, which was called post relinquishment visitation, which is actually illegal.
So
And they
why
gave her
was her?
those.
Why does she not even have her child right now? What?
She made some bad choices in the beginning. I admit it.
Okay. So right. So basically the court is saying that she's not fit.
Right,
And
but her rights are not terminated. Her rights have not been finally terminated, and they say I have no standing because she signed a piece of paper that has no final order.
yeah, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense at all.
No.
And and it's, well, I mean, I'm
It's
being
just
honest.
crazy.
I'm being really honest. We went to court in October, and the judge asked to have a briefing done by disqualification of an attorney that I actually wanted to be disqualified, because the attorney that was representing the opposing party actually used to work for my attorney, and she had already met with me prior to this. The ad litem on the case just so happens to be the law partner, the person who handled my grandchildren's adoptions previously, and the
I don't want to get too. I don't want to get too personal with you, but and you don't have to answer if you don't want to. But why can't you? I mean, you're the child's grandparent, so why can't you advocate for taking the child in? Why wouldn't they give you rights over the child, over your grandchild?
Okay. They say, and let me go ahead and tell you something. This is really funny that you brought that up. I had some calls on me when I was a younger person, CPS calls, and they are claiming that I've had 6 children. I've only had 4. They also claim that I lost my parental rights to 3 of my children, which has never happened.
Well, there has to be documentation of that.
Right.
For them to
the
just
judge
say that.
doesn't look at that.
What is? I mean, is there documentation saying so?
Right. So they write their reports, and they do what's called an affidavit of fact. And they say that they know these things and everything. And they said I've had so many cases that I never even got to talk in court. I've been on the case for 2 years, and I've never even been able to even speak a day in court. As a matter of fact, before I hired my attorney, I was pro se, and I went to court with my witnesses, and I had filed to be an intervener. The judge would not even let me talk. She said me and my witnesses could sit back and watch the hearing. Well, she said she didn't even know one of my witnesses. Well, funny thing is, she sat there and said that she knew her, but she didn't know her outside in social activities. But she and her husband, Ray Wheelis, and their kids, and so many judges went to her wedding. So she flat out lied and said she didn't have no social interactions with her.
Oh, they all have social interactions. Like I've heard I heard a recording of someone speaking to Michael. I believe it was the amicus attorney. I can't remember her name, but she basically admitted that they're all friends.
Yeah, Rachel Lee. I think that's who you're talking
I don't think it was Rachel Lee. I don't think it was her. But yeah, she basically just admitted openly that they're all buddies and they hang out. You know?
Right. And when we were in a hearing one day before we went on record, the judge was actually talking about the CPS worker in our case and saying how they've been doing some outside court activities and how it's been real rejuvenating for them. And she also stated that they had gone to Victoria's Secret because the kids' money was burning a hole in their pocket. And they were talking about these children that they work with that are in foster care or something. I mean, I have that. That recording was sent to me. And I actually have that evidence. I mean, you're going to take children as a judge to like Victoria's Secrets? I mean, I'm just shocked.
Who the hell takes children to Victoria's Secret? What the hell is wrong with you?
The judge does, and so the caseworker.
Well, of course.
Yeah,
I mean, this is Collin County, you guys. Y'all don't live here, so y'all don't really understand how bad it really, really is. You hear about it, but
you'd have to be there just to see it.
I mean, I have like like, I don't know, like 10 boxes full of paperwork going back to 2008. This court, I mean, how is it that they keep getting my grandchildren out of Dallas County and taking them to Collin County in front of the same judge? How does that happen?
Well,
Because
it's a jurisdictional thing. I can tell you that.
They're not the same jurisdiction.
My situation, well, right. If the child, I know that in most states, if the child has lived in a certain place for 6 months or more, they're technically a resident of that area. So if that child has not lived if that child lived in Collin County for 6 months, then it's Collin County's jurisdiction. But
my daughter lived in Dallas County, and CPS knocked on my door, wanted to talk with her, and I said, well, she's over in Plano, which is actually Collin County. They turned around and said that I said she lived there, wrote a report, and gave all of it to Judge Wheelis. This is not the first time. They came to Dallas County. My daughter had lived there for over a year and a half and still took the babies. They keep taking her babies, and she gave up her parental rights to her kids because she was pressured at one time, the same week that she buried her child in the ground. And they just waited, and they got her at her weakest moment and told her that they would never touch her again if she just gave up her kids. They gave up her children to a family, and I'm not going to say right now, but eventually I'll send you the evidence. The family that has my other grandchildren because the one right now, she's not adopted. The other two that were have a connection to the Michael Long case. I'm just going to let you know that.
Who has a connection to the Michael Long case?
The people who have adopted my previous grandchildren. That's why it's so close.
What's their connection to Michael Long's case?
The person that adopted them happens to work with the hospital that did the exam for the child.
Okay, so you're saying that, okay, say that one more time.
Okay, so the people that adopted my grandchildren, and they have a connection because one of them is a chief, okay, that works in a department with one of the folks that's involved in Michael's case. The other one works in the hospital that does the exams for the essay, basically.
Right. No, the SANE exams. Right.
Right.
Okay. I mean, well, a hospital's a big place. It employs a lot of people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's the same people in the same court in the same cases. And there's an attorney named Charity Bozarine. I think that's how you say it. She did the adoption of my grandchildren, and her law partner, John Feister, just so happens to be on my current case. And he actually shouldn't even be on the case because they handled all of that. And now they're on this case trying to adopt my grandchild out to these illegal immigrants.
Yeah, that just sounds like a big mess.
People who don't even have actual citizenship and they're trying to give those kids to them. Really?
Well, I mean, that doesn't make them bad parents, but I just don't see how that's legal.
But it's like,
you know what I mean?
that just don't
my whole thing is I don't see how it's legal.
But they said they ran a background check.
There's not suitable parents that can be that are actually citizens or can legally be here.
But it's not about them being citizens. What I have to say with that is how do they prove their work status? How do they do their background checks and see if their criminal history?
Right.
Because
if they're illegals, then they can't work. So how are they suitable to take care of these kids?
But they went into the court and said that they did the background checks, that they checked their license. Well, if you don't have a green card, you don't have a license in Texas.
Well, no, you don't have a green card. You don't have a license anywhere. You can't get a license.
I'm not sure. I just know about Texas, but they literally came to court and said that they couldn't give them any funding after the first year that they had the baby because of their citizenship. So that's when it became a question, because the judge asked them, why is she not in fostering connections? Why haven't we got her funding? And that's when the ad litem had to finally tell the truth, that they couldn't because of her her citizenship, her background. And so you've got a child that's been placed in a home. They don't speak English. I'm just going to be honest. They don't speak English, but you got a child who comes from a mother and a family that's we've been fighting for her, and we can't even communicate with her because she doesn't understand English.
No, let me address the chat. No, what she's saying is they don't even have a green card. Like they're 100% illegal, according to Mandy here. So how is that? You know what I'm saying? So there's not even a temporary residence situation going on. I mean, I don't really know how it works. You know what I mean? I don't really know how immigration works. I don't really know.
Neither do I.
But
it's the most confusing
but it
thing
just
to me.
seems strange to me that you know.
But you know what? My other half, his sister, she doesn't have her citizenship, but she's married to someone that is a citizen, and they tried to a family member out of foster care, and they were denied because she doesn't have citizenship. But a family who is non-relative, who has no green card, no papers to be in this country, can take a child for 2 years and have rights. It doesn't make sense.
I mean, but why wouldn't they find somebody who's legal? You know what I mean? Like,
I don't know. It's all about the paycheck. That's what I'm thinking.
For whatever reason that they took the child from your daughter, for whatever reasons that is, you know, right. You'd think that they would put them with a family that's legal, you know?
Right. And the family members have been found. So, but it was after a year and a half, they found some other family members. They found the actual father and his parents. Now they have the baby, but they're being forced to share the baby. They were not given an interpreter when they signed paperwork, and they have now given that child to that family for weekend visits. They were taking my grandchild 1 week on, 1 week off, 1 week on, 1 week off. And they don't want to share the baby, but everyone's telling them that they have to let this woman be a part of her life. And it's not right. It's not right. They've completely kicked me out of the case now as soon as I filed an attorney withdrawal, because I need better representation than what I've been getting. I'm being charged thousands. I mean, we're talking about over $30,000 now in a year and a half, 2 years, and nothing. Not one time have I spoken in court. Not one time have I got to even present evidence. And not one time has my attorney ever filed for temporary possession with me, even though I paid for things, and it's never happened. And as soon as I file a withdrawal, then that's when the judge decided to kick me out of the case. I don't know if that's the reason, but why would it happen on the same time frame?
Yeah, I don't know either. I mean, I honestly don't know. But
I just want you guys to know that everything that you're hearing about Collin County, I mean, some people hate it. They don't believe it.
It isn't everything.
But they need to understand that this is really going on. And until you walk in Michael's shoes, my shoes, that girl you said earlier,
well,
Angelina,
I mean, I don't find it to be, I mean, unless I had read the transcripts myself of Michael's case, you know, I wouldn't believe a word you're saying right now at all. You know what I mean? But I read the transcripts, and I saw, I was just like, what are they basing their decisions on? It makes no sense. Like, it's crazy. It's like they totally just crucified this dude for what? Like, and it's crazy. Like, they're making him pay for everything, and they're going to throw him in jail. And it's like, how is he supposed to pay for this stuff if he's going to jail? Right? You're throwing him in jail for what? For what? Right. For exactly. Filing for custody? You know what I'm saying? Like, he hasn't lied. He hasn't lied about anything. You know, it's so bizarre. like how they railroaded this dude. You know, I mean, I get that he's not the most likable guy. I understand that, but that's got nothing to do with whether or not he's a fit parent. And it's definitely got nothing to do whether or not he belongs in jail. Like, the dude didn't do anything to belong in jail, to end up in jail.
He didn't really do anything at all besides crossing the border.
Well, now, I mean, that's different. I mean, I mean, my whole thing is there's options. Like, I can't get behind, you know, the decisions that Michael's making in the slightest bit, because I mean, I went through a custody thing and my situation was somewhat similar but complicated, but I handled it. I manipulated the situation and used the law in my favor to do it. Basically what took place was I wasn't fit to take my son yet. I got a call from my daughter saying, I'm going to send you some pictures. And they were pictures of my son with bruises, explaining that it was his mom and stepfather that did this to him. So of course you know, by the grace of God, I just happened to be with all my family at that moment. And I was only renting a room. I was like, I can't take them. I don't, you know what I mean? But I got to go get them. And my brother was like, well, I'll take them, you know, but this is what I need. I need her permission. I need her to sign over temporary guardianship and access to his medical and school records. And I said, oh, okay. So I flew down there. I flew to California. And I mean, immediately. And I met with my kids and I basically like ambushed them. Like, they did not expect me to be sitting on their couch in their living room. And they walked in and I was like, I have proof. I have solid evidence that you abused our son. I have pictures. And so here's what's going to happen. I'm either going to have you thrown in jail, or you're going to sign over temporary guardianship to my brother. And so, you know, it took some doing, but they eventually signed the paper, or she eventually signed the paper. And we went and had it notarized. And that was the thing, is before I did all that, like I made phone call after phone call after phone call. I even called an SVU detective that I used to date. And I asked her, like, what do I do here? What are the chances that he's going to end up in the system? And she was like, well, the thing is they won't put him in the system. They'll put him with a neighbor before they'll take him and put him in the system. They don't want to take, I mean, it's money. It's a mouth to feed. You know what I'm saying? It's a mouth to feed. So you know, to avoid having a new mouth to feed, the state will try to find any particular home. So it's like, so I was like, all right, you know, so while my brother, you know, while he stayed with my brother, I just got my shit together and I got a 2-bedroom apartment and got a raise at my job. And, you know, but the thing was, is I there was no way. My whole thing is like, you know, running with him and taking off would have been the last thing that I would have ever done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wasn't about to cross the border.
Don't sound like it's worth
son.
it.
Now, would I have had that been my only option? Sure. I'm just not convinced that Michael exhausted all of his options. I think that in part, Michael probably just made bad decisions and he got caught up in the whole glitz and glamour of being, you know, social media famous, and decided to play martyr, and instead of just, you know, really trying to figure out other options,
better options.
I mean,
best.
yeah, there's no way you're ever going to convince me that crossing the border and having U.S. Marshals after you is safe for a 10-year-old. You know,
you must be out of your mind to think that's safe. Good Lord.
It's not safe. You know, I mean, there
No.
had to have been better options for him to explore. You could have I mean, I don't know. All I'm saying is when I was in this situation and there was just no way that at that very moment I could have taken my son in, I still found a way. You know what I mean? I created and explored. I explored and created options to make sure that my son was safe. And I did it legally. So, I mean, you know, now dude is now, for all we know, this could, in the grand scheme of things, turn out to be a really good thing. The dramatics of him crossing the border and having to be extradited and all of this sort of thing, it's gotten national media coverage now. Now that it's got national media coverage, hopefully these people will start taking an interest in it, and there'll be this coverage of it, and so eyes will be on Collin County, and people will start asking questions as to how did we get here? You know what I mean? Like, this isn't a simple case of some dude who just got pissed off at the world and took off with his kid. That's not what happened. There was a lot going on, and there is, I mean, all of my YouTube videos regarding this case still up. As a matter of fact, I think I privatized some of them. I'm probably going to unprivatize all of them, because I mean, it's crazy to me. It's crazy to me that it got to this point. But that's the thing is, do I agree with the choices that he made? No, I don't. Would I have made those choices? Maybe if I was cornered and backed against the wall, and maybe he didn't have any other options. But
seemed like it.
The fact that all of these dramatics have happened, seems to have gotten some attention, and maybe it's the right attention that will show on and shed some light on Collin County and start putting them under a microscope and how they handle things. Because there's no way that, I mean, there's got to be something federal that takes place. I mean, if the feds are involved, I mean, the problem
there must be.
Feds aren't going to get involved in a family court case. They're just not, you know. So there's probably nothing that can ever be done. But if the whole country is looking at this, you know, then it's possible. It's quite possible that you know, the public, that this is the only chance we have, is that the public, there's enough public outcry that it demands answers, and it demands that Collin County be looked into. Hopefully that will
they need to be.
Right. Hopefully that will happen. They do need to be, but they're not going to be.
I'm hearing, they sure
they're not
need
going
to
be unless there's a big enough if there's not enough noise made, you know.
We need to make more noise.
Collin County.
That's why I'm talking about it still. Like, I'm not here to advocate for Michael. I'm worried about where Sophie's going to end up, and I'm serious. And my concerns as far as the Collin County court system go are overwhelming. Those concerns are still there, very, very much. Those haven't gone away. Just because I think Michael acted like a douchebag doesn't mean that I think that, you know,
sure dresses like one.
I mean,
have the fear of, like, Sophie going through the same thing my kids went through because they cried every day. I don't want to see her go through what my kids went through. I mean, what if she gets thrown into a sex offender program and has to listen to all that? What if she gets sent to a place where gets even more abuse? I believe Sophie. I believe her cries were real.
I absolutely believe Sophie.
I'll believe anything.
I 100% absolutely believe Sophie. Everything that we've seen about Jake Bellington tells me that merits serious looking into.
He's a piece of shit.
Right. No, the guy's a total piece of shit. He's absolutely a piece of shit. And I'm not afraid to say it.
Nope.
And I think Kelly's just as much of a piece of shit, if I'm being completely honest.
Punk.
I think she's just as much of a she puts these kids in a dangerous position with a dangerous person. Now, whether or not
You know,
whether or not he is he's an offender in that sense, I don't know, but I do know that he's abusive. That I'm convinced of. I do know absolutely that he's abusive. So I don't. And whatever's going on, okay, whatever's going on, and I've said this 1,000 times. Something is wrong with that environment that needs serious looking into.
Something
for
extremely wrong.
For any child to be that terrified of that environment.
100% extremely wrong.
To be that terrified of the environment that your own mother provides, there is something seriously, seriously wrong, and it needs looking into. And you know, I'm not. You know, until either nobody's talking about it anymore. You know, but while there's some buzz about it, while there's actual mainstream media coverage on this, I'm going to keep talking about it so that I can help make more noise about it. Collin County,
we got to make
needs to be looked into.
And I want to say thank you, Will, because that means a lot to everybody over here. Because I'm just one, Michael's one, the one you said earlier, Angelina's just one, but there's about 100 or so more of us. I mean, you just don't know, and this is the hardest county. I mean, I've lived in Texas my whole life, but I mean, this county has been just crazy. I mean, I actually have a recording. I went online to Google the chief judge because, Cynthia Wheelis is like, her husband used to be the judge, Ray Wheelis. And I Googled to find the chief judge.
A dynasty of judges.
Right. So you go to this number that it gives
weird.
You.
Yeah. That in and of itself is weird.
You can't do anything. If you want to complain about the 417th court, you have to go through Ray Wheelis, her husband. But I was thinking, maybe I'm crazy, call me nuts, guys, but Michael's case is still the 417th. His case number is still 417. Just because they appointed a different judge, isn't it still in the hands of the 417th court, which would be Cynthia Wheelis?
No. I mean, if the case was handed over to another judge, then another judge is handling it. I mean, it is what it is. But the fact of the matter is if Ray and Cynthia Wheelis are married, then it's pretty safe to say that they're dealing with this case at home too, and one has influence over the other. I seriously doubt that the two of them are like, you know what, I'm not going to discuss a case with you. No, they're sitting around drinking wine, eating dinner, and talking about it. You know what I mean?
Oh, of course they are.
Decisions are being made something to do with influence from the other. Absolutely, I have no doubt in my mind about that.
Right, and I have a source, but I can't reveal them, obviously. But
no, it's supposed to keep them anonymous.
Well, I mean, my source I've known for over 25 years, and their parent was a honorable person in Collin County, and they know a lot, and they know a lot of names, and they have a lot of details and things that are going on, and and unfortunately, and I hate to say this, but like this person I know, whose father is a late honorable person in Collin County who helped the Wheelises get to where they're at. If they have a call to CPS or have an issue, they just close the case out. And the reason being is because they find out who that person is. So, I mean, there's just, it's all about who you know over here. It really is.
Oh, yeah. I like to call that just plain old good old boy bullshit. That's what I like to call that.
Big time good old bullshit right there. Right.
Good old there. Bullshit. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but it's happening, and unfortunately, I just worry about what's going to happen now with Sophie. I worry so much because having been through this since 2008 in this county, her case is still within that county. I don't know what's going to happen to her. I hope to God that she doesn't have to go through any more torment or anything.
So people in my chat are asking, So, and I think you answered it already, but just one more time. Sorry to get too personal. So why aren't you taking custody of your grandkid?
Because I've been trying to, and the judge has never let me talk. She's never let me speak about anything that's been said against me. I've been accused of things that aren't true, but I've never got a chance or a day in court to prove that it's not true.
Who made these accusations?
CPS.
Okay.
And the ad litem and the CASA, which, by the way, CASA did a home study on me in July of 2020 so I could get my grandchild. That's what I thought it was happening. And then when months went by, my attorney asked CASA, what is your findings? They said, well, we don't report that directly to the court.
So what are they? What are they accusing
never
you
aware
of?
that they did a home study.
What are they accusing you of?
I've been accused that I have 14 CPS cases. I've been accused that I have a child abuse case against a child I've never met in my life. They gave me the actual name. I've actually been accused of having more children that I've never had. I've been accused of having my rights terminated that I've never had happen to me. I've been accused of being on crack cocaine. I mean, you just name it. The list goes on and on.
Good
I've been
God.
accused of being completely incompetent. Like I'm
Wow.
supposedly I'm at a level that I can't even function. That's what they say. My mental evaluations that have been done on me by Collin County have actually said that I am not a functioning adult.
But you're paying.
You're a functioning
I
person.
mean, I realize
my eyes.
that you fired your attorney, right? But you had
I'm
an
not even a
attorney under
mental
your
specialist.
employ. You had an attorney under your
Sorry,
employ.
I didn't hear both of you. I'm sorry.
You had an attorney under your employ. Why didn't this attorney file a
She
motion
told
for
me our
you to
best
speak?
strategy.
Why didn't
She
your
said our best
attorney?
strategy was to be quiet.
Well, how can that be your best strategy if you're trying to gain custody of your grandchild? That doesn't make sense.
She just said it was best to be quiet and just see how things happen, and then we could know our next course of action. And then I told her 2 days ago that I wanted to have her withdraw because she has been threatening to withdraw, by the way. So I finally told her to file it so I can move on with the case and find another attorney or go pro se. She filed it, and she called me today and told me, well, just like I suspected, the judge was going to kick you out of the case as soon as I withdrew. I'm sorry. So all this time that I've been on this case, I got kicked out of the case today. Judge Cynthia Wheeler signed an order to kick me out.
Yeah, so your options are gone now.
No, I'm going to file an appeal. I just got to find somebody to help me. That's it.
Okay. I got Jessica Moon here. I want to see what Jessica Moon has to say. She's muted, but I mean, I didn't mute her. I think she muted herself.
No,
How's it going, Jessica?
Because it would be rude and have background noise and everything because I was listening. And Amanda, I'm so sorry. I do not mean to sound rude. I'm not coming off as well. I hope I'm not coming off as rude. But you had said in the beginning, you were sharing your story, and I get it. There's a whole lot going in there. And forgive me if you don't have to answer if you don't want to. Okay. But you did state that your daughter, the one that you have the grandbaby from, correct?
Mm-hmm.
That she was kidnapped at 18. Is that correct? Did I get that?
Yes. Yes, she was. She was on the Missing and Exploited Network.
And then she was trafficked. I'm so sorry.
She was. Yeah, she was trafficked. She was held against her will for 3 months.
Horrid. Okay, and so then so for 3 months, and then they found her. How did they find her, or what happened from there?
They found her in Dallas County, not Collin County, but they found her in a trap house that they call it. They were investigating that house, and when they came in, they found her with bruises and everything.
But you said they arrested her though.
Okay, and then from there they typically do in a trap house because there's usually things that go on there that you can be arrested for. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, my
correct,
daughter.
Well, but I mean, if she was held there against her will, then
yeah, she went there for a barbecue with somebody that she met on the internet, that she had known for a few months, went to a barbecue, and she never left until they found her. The police department did.
So what was she charged with?
She ended up getting charged with manufacturing and delivering because she knew that what was going on, and she told him who she was. Even though she was on the missing and exploited network, she was charged with a crime. That's what usually happens to victims, though.
Oh, so she was up in there trapping out bandos. She was bagging stuff up. Okay.
No, she wasn't. No, she was actually. No, she wasn't. She said she knew what was happening.
I'm sorry. Yes.
No, she was. I even got the police report. They said she was the least involved in all of it. The only thing is because she actually told one of the investigators that she knew what was going on. They took a charge. She went to jail until they can investigate, but she wanted to get out, so she just went ahead and took a deferred probation.
So, but why?
Because
it doesn't make sense that they would charge her if she was held against her will. You see what I'm saying?
It does happen, though. It happens more than you think.
It does. Okay. Thank you for clarifying that. I'm so sorry. This is
no, I mean it's unfortunate. It was years ago. She's 26 now, though.
Right. And so
when
she was in jail and she was pregnant and then all of a sudden not pregnant, that was the baby that she lost. And
this is a recent time.
Or so was that the same baby
children.
Okay.
She had 3 children prior to that incident. Then she was pregnant again while she had already had a child. So she had a total of 5 pregnancies. The child that she was pregnant with in Harland County Jail was in early 2020. That's the child that we don't even know what happened to. Now, the child that's in the case right now is the child that's 2.5 years old, so she was already pregnant again, but this child's 2.5, almost 3. My daughter was completely beaten and strangled on November 7th of this year. She was in a very bad incident where the people threatened to go and harm my grandchild, who, when I was telling y'all earlier, the lady that has rights to her, which is the illegal, illegal immigrant.
What kind of people is she hanging out with? I mean,
that's what I asked her. I asked her that. I did ask her that.
Certainly isn't the good type.
I'm not going to say that she was in a bad position. My daughter started doing nails and hair. That's what she does for a living. And she went to meet with a client, and I got a call at 3:00 in the morning on November 7th that they had found my daughter on the side of the highway, and the police are involved. The courts know what's happened. The lawyers know. However, no one will give me an emergency hearing. The person that did this to her, we believe, is suspected from the incident when she was 18 years old. We think it was a setup. We don't know. But we do know, however, that guy, one of the guys, there was 2 guys involved. One was arrested. He has 9 felonies in Dallas County right now. He's sitting in jail. He will be facing the other charges of what happened to her. So he is involved in human trafficking. And he did threaten to go kill my granddaughter. That was November 7th. And nobody will have an emergency hearing. I mean, people make mistakes. They do. But
actually makes sense now. Thank you for clarifying that for me, because at first I was like, I have so many questions. Like, I didn't want to pry. I didn't want to be rude. And I hope I wasn't. But I just needed to get the timeline a little bit more intact, because I was like, I don't know. Because there was a lot. Right. There was a lot. But
that's what happened.
It makes a lot more sense.
Right, but on November 7th, when she was attacked, her child, who I've been fighting for in the case that I've been talking about, she was threatened. The guy said, he told my daughter, he's like, if you scream, I'm going to call the police. My daughter told him that she was going to call the police. And he said, you know what, if you do that, I'm going to go kill your daughter. And she's like, you don't know where my daughter is. She doesn't live with my mom. He was like, yeah, well, I know where she's at. And she's like, where? And he told her, your daughter's at Victor. I'm just going to say the name Victor. She said, she grabbed the phone. She dialed 911. He grabbed it. That was it. She woke up after being strangled. She didn't know. They have police video footage, guys. Police footage of these guys running out of this room after they did this attack. The witness that called me at 3 o'clock in the morning, who had my daughter, told me that there was something wrong. They've talked to this guy. My daughter right now has been trying to get justice. She doesn't want my grandchild going back over to this home where they said they're going to threaten her. But CPS, my lawyer that I had until today, and everybody is completely ignoring the fact that someone has threatened to kill a 2.5-year-old child. And when I contacted the courts, Angel Marksberry, and told her I need an emergency hearing, the same person in Michael's case, Angel Marksberry, she turned it over by being ex parte communication.
Who's Angel Marksberry? That's the first time I'm hearing that name.
She's the court coordinator for the 417. Y'all might have called her Angela before, but her name is Angel Marksberry.
Okay.
She's the person in charge in the court. She's the court coordinator. And then the other guy, Rick Wiley, he's the bailiff. He's the one that's married to the opposing attorney. And I found that out too in the case. So they're married. They're actually married. And I told them I wanted her off the case, conflict of interest for so many things, but they're actually, in fact, married.
Yeah, but I don't see how the bailiff could really interfere with anything. You see what I'm saying?
Oh,
yeah.
Bailiff. What does the bailiff do?
Bailiff is like all rise and then hands evidence from one to the judge.
No, he handles everything, because if you have a problem and you need an answer, the recordings at Collin County Court, if you call it, will tell you to email or call Rick Wiley. I'm sorry.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, he has a lot to do with this court. He's the bailiff. He's been there forever. And I even Googled it on Facebook. I mean, he's got pictures of vacations where he's got Judge Wheelis tagged in it. I mean, it's there. And they have a very big relationship, and his wife is the opposing attorney on my case.
Okay.
I'm just trying to let you guys know.
No, Ivan the Great. I'm just saying. I don't know. That's what I thought. I don't know. I don't know for sure. And what in the
I'm
hell?
an open book. I'm not.
Okay,
I'm
apparently,
not
I have an email that I don't even know what it is, but apparently, Cherry just does stuff.
Cherry likes to send you things, I see.
Cherry just does stuff. So yeah, I guess you could email me at whatever that is.
I did want to just say one more thing before I go.
Okay.
I did want to say one more thing before I go, because I do appreciate you giving me some time to tell people what's really going on. The guy that got arrested.
People deserve to know.
Well, the guy that got arrested for this horrific crime that happened November 7th has, in fact, we found his records in Collin County. He has some charges there, as well as Tarrant County.
So he was arrested.
Oh, he was arrested. He hasn't been completely charged yet with that, but he has like 8 to 9 felonies against him right now. I will say
Texas doesn't have a 3 strikes you're out thing like California.
Well, no, but I wanted to tell you that
jail?
The other guy they're still looking for. There was 2 guys, and when this guy got arrested, now he's in Dallas County Jail right now. He did have some cases in Collin County, and I had a message sent from a detective that said, I don't know why Collin County keeps letting him get away with it. I can't tell you exactly what he's involved in, because I don't really want to go that deep right now, but I will just say that what he's involved with, and it will come out very soon about what's going on. What's really going on, because this guy is involved in some stuff, and there's a reason that he keeps getting away with everything.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, Collin County is corrupt. It is corrupt, in my opinion, whether people believe it or not. I know.
Oh, I
don't care.
I mean, there's definitely there's definitely something
corruption
wrong going on there. Like whether it's corruption or whether it's just plain negligence and just craziness.
Corruption.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely something.
It could be
wrong
anything
going on there. But thanks for coming on here, Amanda.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
If you want, I'll
answer
some.
that was really cool of you. You didn't have to do that. I had a lot of questions, and I appreciate you very much.
You're an open book. we're an open book, and my daughter
No,
even made a recording tonight. She said if anybody wants to hear it, they're welcome to hear it because,
Well, I gotta
you know,
say, man, your daughter, she sounds like she needs to reevaluate her judgment and character and the people she surrounds herself with. Because
right,
you know, I'm not blaming her for anything that's happened to her, but she's got a, you know, seems to me like she's just got really bad things that continue to happen to her, and probably
right.
seems like stuff that, you know, on her end of learning from would be, you know, okay, I'm gonna have a better, I'm gonna vet people a little bit better before I put myself in dangerous positions with dangerous people. You know,
No, I get it.
yeah,
I get it. But, you know, she doesn't know who she can trust anymore in this world. I mean, unfortunately, when you've been a victim for so long, I mean, you just don't know. I mean,
right.
she's tried to make good choices. She's tried to change her life, and every time that she's done what she can do, I mean, we're talking about a charge that happened when she was 18. She's 26, and she's still paying for it.
Right.
I mean, it just won't stop. Every time she tries to do anything, she gets locked up for it. So, I mean, she's in jail right now, and they're not giving her medical attention. I mean, they're not doing anything.
Right.
It's something else, you know.
Paige is in here. Hey, Paige, why don't you come up here?
Come on up.
All right.
Just pulled my back.
Thank you, Mandy. Because Paige is actually really well versed in the in the Collin County court case with Michael. So I'd like to hear what she has to say.
Yeah, I'd love to hear it too. Thank you so much.
All right, have a good one.
You too. Amanda. Thank you, guys. All right, thank you. Bye-bye.
All right.
And thank you for letting me up and ask those questions. I know that they're a little rough. I wasn't trying to be rude. I just certain things were not really.
No, I mean, I was. I mean,
because
I was. The whole thing was just super like wild. That was a wild story. I mean, I'm not implying that it wasn't true. I'm saying that it was. No. I mean, you know, it sounds like a nightmare. You know what I mean? What's up, Paige? How are you doing?
I'm good. I don't know what I just needed because I just
a little bit of something to make.
No, we're shifting it back to Sophie.
She was explaining her. Just like walked in, so I have no idea what we're talking about.
No, she was explaining her experiences that she's dealing with Collin County courts right now.
Oh, okay.
And it sounds real bad. You know, it just does. But what do you? I mean. What's your take on how Collin County has handled Michael's case? Like,
I mean, just based on what I've seen in general with the cases, and mind you, like my knowledge has always been more criminal than civil. I do know civil, but from an HR standpoint, but still procedurally, like it's still supposed to work the same, right? I know that family court is always been one of those courts that are like, you know, never running the best. Like that's everywhere in the United States, not just right. Texas. But I just based on what I've seen in the court documents, they didn't handle the case right for either party.
It was quite
not botched. Just Michael, but just, you know, Kelly too. Because like it's like I said before, like if they had held Michael Long in contempt the second or third time he said he wasn't going to come back with Sophie, then he may have never left with her, may have never gone to Mexico. You know what I'm saying? Like they could have avoided that.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, you know, yeah, it's super weird because like, yeah, because I'm up here and I'm talking about how they were so quick to throw him in jail, but in a lot of ways they weren't. You know what I mean? Right. Technically, he should have been held in contempt, considering. You know, now I'm not saying that it would have been right, but I'm saying that he, you know, they actually seem to let him slide a lot. They seem to give him a lot of rope.
Yeah, they like in some ways they let him slide a lot, and then other ways they like didn't really give him all the like they didn't give him like some of the rights that he had during the hearings and whatnot, you know, like that he should have had. But
Right.
at the same time, I'm sure that if I got to see all documents from every time they had a hearing or anything like that, we'd probably notice that he did that for both sides, because he also didn't hold Kelly in contempt, even though it was only one incident. So
But it was a hell of an incident.
I mean, it
You know
was,
what I
but
mean?
my point is he didn't do that piece of it. And so,
Right.
you know, like, I feel like he wasn't fair. The one thing you got to be careful is when you have anybody in any kind of position of authority, if they're not treating one side fairly, most likely you're not going to treat the other side fairly at some point. Like, that's just, if you see something shady, it's probably going to be shady all the way around, right? And what's interesting is I did research on him, and he used to be the judge, and he used to be one hell of a prosecutor. So I'm surprised, but he never did family law until now. So that might be the other problem, right? He was used to doing criminal law, not family.
Right.
You should at least have experience in family law, not just criminal.
Well, yeah, because family law is civil law, so there would be no point in having a criminal law attorney. But I guess they have to pick once Wheelis recused herself, they had to appoint somebody else to take over the case. And there was plenty of other civil family law judges, whether they tried to reach out to them and they denied because of what was going on, because, you know, some Wheelis's address got out and or if they just went to this guy because they thought he was tougher or whatever. I don't know the real story behind it. There's a lot of speculation, but they ended up giving it to him and said he had no experience in family. And I agree. I mean, law is law. And just like everybody can say any judge can rule anything and any attorney can practice anything, but there's still differences. I mean, I've staffed for a lot of law firms, and I can tell you right now, if you're an immigration attorney and I try to put you into a criminal court, it's going to suck. If you're a mortgage attorney and I try to put you in any other civil law, you're not going to survive. Because they're just you gotta start from scratch and learning the rules. The procedures are the same, but the it's different because you're fighting different laws, different things. Like that's why there's specialties in law. That's why there's specialty in judges.
Right. Right. So what do you think is going to happen to Sophie now?
Well, I guess she's in federal custody, from what I understand.
She is.
It's safe to say she is.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty safe to say that she is. I mean, I saw the Spanish clip earlier today. I was working until about an hour ago, so I got a chance to see that way earlier today, and then I could tell that they were basically at the border. I believe it was the El Paso Juarez border, because that's the biggest international border between Mexico and Texas, and since she lives in Texas, I'm assuming that's where they went through, but I don't know. But you could tell it was a border, and that they were passing her off to marshals. It made me laugh a little bit because I was like, why does it look like a hostage situation? You know, like one side's on one side and the other side's on the other side.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, my best guess would be that it's a diplomatic type thing.
Yeah, it's definitely about diplomatic.
It's two different countries.
Yeah,
you know,
that's why. But at first, you're like, you don't really think about it because you're seeing. I'm like, man, it looks weird. But yeah, I could gather what they were saying just on the little Spanish that I know, and they you know.
Well, I mean, I have it translated right here. I can read it.
Oh, I've read the translation since.
Okay.
Yeah, since then I've read the translation. It was pretty much what I said, without the specific details of, like, you know, them talking about the backstory of Michael Long and Sophie and whatever and whatnot. But I don't know what they're going to do, because everything that I've seen, the original plan was that she was going to go to this program that was from this woman that does this, like, what is it called? Like, reunification program, I guess, in New York. But she was going to be living with Danielle. But once they took Michael's rights away, I don't know if that changed any of that, because we never got to see the final order. We just saw the termination of rights.
Right.
like that's all we got. We didn't get to see the whole transcript of everything for after that. So
yeah, supposedly there was an appeal. I mean, I really don't know the story behind that. Supposedly there's an appeal, and he's supposed to. But someone in my chat was saying that it got dismissed. That the appeal.
I don't know if it got dismissed because I saw a brief screenshot. Somebody put it in my group, and I tried to look at it, but then I got busy.
Right.
I don't know if that means it's dismissed because it doesn't say dismissed. But somebody else told me that it was sealed, so I don't really know. And until I know, like I don't
right.
know.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder what's going to happen to Michael. Like,
well,
I mean,
it could take. So typically, and I was explaining this on Queen Bees the other day,
because I'm guessing he's sitting in a Mexican jail right now.
Oh God!
I mean, he could be, and he could be probably, most likely. So,
I mean, I doubt he's sitting in an interrogation room eating ice cream. You know what I mean?
well,
No.
I mean, they, I don't know how they do things. Maybe they give you like quesadillas or something. I don't know. I don't know how it works.
Oh, that's fancy.
He's
Fancy.
holding a bungalow or something, and then
No. So, like, all I know is that typically when there is a federal, that I don't know in this situation with custody because I've never followed a case that had a custody situation tied to it, fleeing to Mexico and then getting arrested, right? So I was unsure of what was going to happen directly to Sophie and how fast, but I knew that because she was an American citizen as a child, like they couldn't hold her there that long because she didn't commit a crime. And, they would probably get her within the week. I figured as much, or at least within a week. So, but as far as him, depending on if he was picked up on a crime in Mexico or if they just picked him up on charges with like, with marshals, because there is a U.S. Marshals. They do have like a satellite office in Mexico. So
I mean, I doubt
know.
that he's like kicking it and chilling in an embassy.
No,
watching
I don't
cable.
think he is either.
You know what
but
I mean?
I don't know, like, if he's going to be there because it can take anywhere up from a week to 90 days to do an extradition.
The fact of the matter is that he has a warrant out for his arrest. He's wanted by the law, and now they got him. So
yeah. So, but if so typically, if you're with a country that extradites, you have to go through a process of extradition. If they've committed a crime in that country, they've got to go through that process first, and then or make a deal with the U.S. Marshals or whoever it is, if it's Interpol, if it's overseas or whatever. They make a deal with, the FBI or CIA or whoever they need to, and they figure out how they can extradite that person back. But with being it's Mexico, I know that it can take anywhere from a few weeks, 90 days, and also like the Mexican federalities, it's a very corrupt government still. So it's not like they're going to be like, okay, we're going to give him to you because you want him. They're going to look for something. Like if he was busted on charges there of whatever, like let's say they found him jaywalking or, I don't know, speeding or something stupid. I don't even know what he would have been picked up for, but they can say your taillight's broken and you owe us $4,000, or whatever. They can try to hustle him
think of
for
anything.
money. What?
I said they could think of anything and they'll give it to him.
They can do whatever. But but since the U.S. Marshals knew that he was picked up, they must have had some say in his apprehension. I just don't know what they're going to do. Like, is the Mexican government going to give him over freely, or are they going to make them wait, or are they going to make him dance through and jump through hoops? I mean, it's not easy.
I mean, I'm sure they're not real thrilled about him crossing over illegally and trying to hide from the law. Like, they don't like that.
Nah, no, that's different. Like that's not a big. I don't think they care too much about us going over there and doing.
No, they don't like that. They don't like that. Like, I mean, it goes back to like the 1800s, man. Like the Old West, like they would behead outlaws for going over there. For going over there.
Any outlaw that went over the Mexican border.
Now it's used more as a way to bargain. Like if you're an American citizen, they try to rob you of money, as much money as they can.
Michael ain't got no money.
Well, I know. So they might be trying to make a deal with, I mean, there has been situations where the government has had to make deals with Mexican law enforcement in order to get people over and like give money up. It is almost like a hostage situation. So
I mean, but think about it. Like, I mean, who's going to give up some money to get him back over here? Like, who's going to put up a fight to get him over here? You know what I mean?
I don't know. Like, I don't
Nobody's
even
going to put up
know.
a fight for him to come back over here. You know?
Well, then
I mean, if that's the
maybe,
case,
if that's the case, then he might be there for a lot longer. I don't know. See, and I don't know the real specifics. Like, it's not like I can go to like, you know, Mexico City County Jail and look him up and see what it is. They don't have the same
no, there's no. I mean, yeah, like
that we do. You know,
No.
If he's in a Mexican jail, he's in a hole somewhere that nobody, you know what I mean? Who God knows what's going on over there.
Yeah,
you know?
I don't know. I mean,
And he's awful pretty.
Gestapo.
You know what I mean?
Well, hey, he
Yeah,
speaks
okay.
Spanish, so you may never know. I mean, one thing
No,
is,
I mean, yeah, he's got a silver tongue. He might be able to
Yeah.
make some friends. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
that's what I'm saying.
you know, he
Hopefully it's not with cartels, though.
he definitely knows how to talk. He definitely knows how to win people over. So maybe, you know, maybe he's made a few friends.
Maybe next week he'll be ahead of the cartel. We'll be like, whoa, what
Oh, God.
happened?
He'll be the new El Chapo. Oh, God.
Oh, shit.
I don't see it happening, but it could.
Hey, I'm just saying, I don't know. Like,
No, I know.
I don't know what's going to happen. It's going to be an interesting thing, but it's going to be a lot of speculation until he gets stateside, unless we get any leaked information. And then how do we verify it though? You know, like it's very hard to verify information without.
Someone's got a pretty mouth, Jerry. Who has a pretty mouth?
He's talking about Michael. That's what they say
God.
when you go to prison.
You got a pretty mouth, boy.
You got a pretty mouth.
Oh, God. My God.
I feel bad joking about it because he's probably going through hell right now.
Maybe not. I mean, I don't know. If the U.S. Marshals are involved, it might not be as bad as we think it is. And he's not in like a small shit town in Mexico. He's in Mexico
but the
City.
U.S. Marshals, for all we know, the only purpose the U.S. Marshals even served was just to get Sophie across the border. That's it.
And to execute a warrant on interference in child custody.
Okay. But
so because I guess what they did is, from what I'm gathering is what happened, because we never saw the actual warrant, right? So there was like an unofficial warrant that was out for the interference in the child custody case, because it always said bench warrant, right, for the failure to
he was
appear.
never charged with kidnapping.
Right.
Like everybody, yeah. And what's messed up is like Fox News covered the case, and Fox News basically called him a kidnapper. And
wow.
And then, but the Spanish channel Univision, they basically were like, they painted him out to be somebody who was trying to protect his daughter.
Yes, they did paint it in a different light, which is interesting. That's why I'm wondering if he's really going to not do so bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. They may not be so upset because you got to understand, even the news is controlled by the government there. So like the fact that they painted it that way, it's a whole different story. And like, there's like,
I mean, for all we know, they're treating him like a hero. For all we know, in Mexico, that story's like, you know,
white gringo hero.
Yeah, right.
Yay.
For all we know, that story's, you know, I mean, it hasn't been on the news, but for all we know, it's an internet thing that's a big deal, and you know, he's painted to be some sort of folk hero.
I mean, listen, there is a lot of, like, I'm not saying that there isn't sex trafficking in the U.S. and I'm not going to say that things don't happen, but they have a much more serious problem with that than we do. And so when you have someone who's saying
in Mexico
that their child may have been sex trafficked or he's trying to save her from that, or even being molested, that's going to be a hero-like story for them, because they do have a big issue with that. You know, people get sold in and out of Mexico from other countries. I mean, even that's a very big big transfer spot too. So I wouldn't, it's very possible they do think he's a hero. Like, I mean, I know that the news painted it more like, you know, he was doing the right thing and so forth like that. And so we don't know, like, we won't really know unless either he gets on the news himself or we get some, I mean, cause like the way that the first bulletin came out,
it made it sound like, I could just picture it. Like him on
The way
Telemundo
the
and
first bulletin came
Univision.
out with the marshals, it sounded like they were saying that they were getting him here like pretty quickly, right?
And,
Like
and
they
the
were gonna.
thing is, man, like those channels, Telemundo and Univision,
Yeah.
those channels are like worldwide. They're all
Yes.
over every Spanish speaking country.
Yep.
Like I was on on a show on Telemundo, right? And
Telemundo in Miami when you're in
right.
Hialeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Telemundo, the studio for Telemundo is there in
Yeah.
Miami. Like
Yeah, I know.
all right there in Hialeah where I grew up.
I know. That's
And
why I said you were in Hialeah.
yeah, I grew up in Hialeah. And I did when I was a body piercer, I did this show called Caso Cerrado, right? Which in English translates to case closed. So it's kind of like a Judge Judy thing.
Oh
But
my God, Will! Somebody go find that. We gotta see it.
I can't
Oh, I
find
gotta
it
see
anywhere.
that. We need to see that.
I can't
I'd
find
love
it
to see
anywhere.
that.
Oh my God.
Hey, what's up, darling?
No
Nikki?
wiener piercings though.
Yeah, no,
No.
it was crazy. It was crazy. Like this lady, she's the host, she's known as La Doctora, right? And she's and she's like a rock star. She stays in her trailer all the time. And the whole day, it was ridiculous. First of all, the whole thing's fake. It's all fake, right? So you had this producer, and she's chain smoking cigarettes, and she's clearly high on cocaine. And she's chain smoking cigarettes, and she's like telling, so you gotta the story was it was a grandmother and a grandfather who have their grandson, and their grandson is 18 years old. He lives in the house with them, and he wants to get a particular piercing, but the grandfather is like, no, that's only for homosexuals and blah blah blah, and the grandmother's like, if he wants to do it, let him do it. And that was the whole thing, right?
Oh wow.
And so they're going to argue, and then I'm supposed to pierce the kid, right? So I did, right? And they paid me $100 and paid me for the piercing. And I was there all day, and I didn't need to be there all day. I was like, why?
Oh, you only made $100 for that, sir?
It was ridiculous. Yeah. It was ridiculous. But I thought of it. I just figured it was good publicity. I wanted to. I got to plug my shop, where I worked. So I would.
Well, that's
customers.
cool.
Right. That's how I saw it. And it really didn't generate any business at all. But the whole thing, like my aunt who lives in West Virginia is like, oh my God, I saw you on Caso Cerrado. And I was like, you get that up here in West Virginia? Like that's crazy. So like basically any place, like with cable, like you get that channel, like it doesn't matter where you are. Like
satellite, they'll get it for sure.
So that kind of coverage is a good thing. You know what I mean? Because what really needs to happen? Cherry, this was like 10 years ago.
All right, Cherry, you're on it. Go find it.
what needs to happen is there needs to be attention on Collin County Court and how they're handling things. Obviously,
they need to get put under the biggest microscope you can find.
I totally agree. Yeah, that's totally how I feel about it. What I'd really love to see is somebody who's, I'd love to see a green-eyed lady. That's actually Darling Nikki, who's awesome. And your Darling Nikki, your post on the Summer Wells case today, spot on. Good job. Thank you for that. But yeah, I just like to see somebody who's an experienced filmmaker and make a documentary about this whole thing. I would love to see that happen, because
that'd be amazing.
I mean, as much as I don't like certain things.
Podcast series about the injustice and differences in Texas courts, especially like Dallas, Fort Worth area, so Collin County included, and the differences in just a case between a family that had white children versus a family that had black children, and how different it was there for them. And this was a few years ago, and I can't remember what it's called. I have it somewhere, but it's an amazing an amazing podcast about it. And it's a series of stories about these two different families. And he's the guy who did it was like a big time reporter on one of the major news stations, or maybe for one of the newspapers. I can't remember, but for some reason, it didn't bring a lot of fucking attention.
Some money payout, Road King.
Yeah, Road King. Yeah, Trump lost his Twitter privileges a long time ago. He's not allowed to tweet on Twitter.
Yeah, and
as far as I heard, he got his Twitter account back.
Oh, did he?
As far as I know, I have Twitter. I can look. It's like, do I want to look at that?
Twitter, man. Like, I have a Twitter.
I don't want to look at that dude's fake wig. My mother always thought, including myself, we always thought he wore a wig. But that's his real hair. It's not a wig.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, there's been people that have tried to spotlight Harland County, and I know people don't want to believe it, but I think you'll see that in a lot of family courts. It's weird. It feels like I've, seen it. When I started really like just looking at the courts in general, just in, like to look at that side of things instead of getting wrapped up in like who's right and who's wrong.
But
like,
yeah, it would be on CNN and hours.
You notice how much like there's a lot of people that claim that there's corruption, and then there's some of it's true in how that was not necessarily corruption, but some of it's true in that the perception is they were treated unfairly, and then there's just some people that didn't want to follow the rules, right? So you're going to have a little bit of both, but Harland County's been spotlighted already, so it's interesting. Texas, that area of Texas has got a lot of problems in general.
Yeah, like it's like they're their own country there. They do whatever they want.
Oh yeah.
Like it's crazy.
They sure act like it.
Right.
Now I don't know if that would change the outcome of the case or not. But I don't know if things worked out differently, if it would have changed the outcome of the case or not. But I would just rather everything be consistent across the board and everybody get the same fair shot. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, I agree. I'd like to see that too. I mean, what I want is justice, and I want it executed properly. You know what I mean? Like, I get it. If Michael had done something terrible, okay, but the worst thing he did was take Sophie across the border. In my personal opinion, at least of anything that there's evidence of.
Well, and I get what you're saying, and for some that may not be a very big offense, but to some others that's like the worst offense, and I guess it's all about
terrible. No, I never got behind that.
No, I never got behind that. I know you didn't. What I'm just saying is, as far as like all he's done, and I get that. It's just
like what a bad move on his part.
It really was, but can I tell you my weird theory?
Weird theory
about why this happened. Why Mike went across the back of the border?
Yeah, we're listening, Paige.
We're listening. We're all ears. Tell us.
Don't make me punch you guys. So I was like, I just have this theory. Like I know. I truly believe that Michael loves Sophie to death. Like I in just the talking to him, regardless of whether I agree with everything he's done or believe that he's always been honest, I do know that in my heart that I feel like he loves his child to death and believes her and believes the story. In fact, I even talked to Ashley Hurdle and she felt the same way. She said that like he really does believe her and believes the story and feels like this is the best choice for her. And I was like, yeah, like I know that. So, but I feel like maybe like part of this, and this is going to sound so bad, but I'm going to say it out loud. I can't believe I'm about to do this. Part of it is that he's never been a single dad, like a single parent, right? He's always had help, and he's been alone with Sophie, and it got scary, I guess, there, with the break-in and everything. I think he kind of wanted subconsciously to get caught. That's why I think he went over the border, like, because it was so much stress. And even if he got caught, and he knew that they probably would look at the story differently in Mexico because he's familiar with, a lot of the Latino communities. He speaks Spanish.
Seems like it.
you know, that maybe he knew he would get different treatment there and maybe maybe looked at like better and he wouldn't necessarily have a better fighting chance. And maybe he also knew that it would cause enough stir that people would start helping again monetarily. So I'm just saying he's a smart guy and I don't think he does things without reason.
Oh, I agree with you there. I mean, I'm sure he had some sort of rationale in his mind as to be, you know, what's behind his decisions for sure.
Right.
But I mean, I can't imagine anybody with any common sense thinking that this was going to turn out good. Now,
that's what I'm
obviously,
saying. I don't
like
think
I said, the good thing about it is
there's no
the
way
good thing about it is
him
crossing the border has actually brought the mainstream media attention that he's been trying to get since this started.
Right.
So that's good, but maybe it's not enough. I don't think it's enough. It's only Fox that's doing it and Univision. That's it.
Well, give it time. Who knows?
But that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that it picks up. I'm hoping it snowballs and you know, but we'll see.
We just got to, like, if it does get that attention and it does get that big, we have to understand that regardless of if everything gets redone, let's say they said, okay, we're going to redo everything, or they say we don't. At some point, there's going to be a time where there's going to be no more fighting allowed, right? There's no more appeals can be done. Like, you know, it's not like you get an infinite amount of time to correct things. So at some point, somebody's going to have to be okay at whatever side, since they're sides, is going to have to be okay with whatever the decision at the end of the day is.
I mean, that's basically what took place for the most part, except for the appeals and whatnot.
Well, right, that's what I'm saying. At some point,
pretty much
that's going to end. He's not going to be able to fight anymore.
Wheelis basically just ended it. We read the transcript, like it was done. You know what I mean? Like,
you mean Snipes?
Or Snipes, sorry.
I was like,
I've been saying Wheelis this whole time, and I forgot it was Snipes. I've been saying Wheelis all this whole time.
Wheelis, Snipes.
Yeah,
and
my
no
bad.
one corrected
They seem like the same person.
Nobody
your
corrected
mods are
me.
horrible.
Yeah, they are. They're the worst mods ever.
Damn, why would they? They just let you
Jerry,
just fall over yourself.
It's real crime.
No, I'm the one who's supposed to know this stuff. They're not supposed
That's
to know
true.
this stuff.
That's true. I'm just teasing. My mods would be like, Paige, we knew it, but we just wanted to see you be stupid. I'm like, thanks.
Yeah. Yeah, and I knew it was Snipes. I don't know why.
Oh no, we're being flipped off. Oh, look at the little middle fingers.
Yeah.
Jerry's learning something new.
Yo,
Jerry
man. Yo.
Whoa.
Jerry knows a lot. What are you looking at?
See this?
Oh, she got a lot of middle fingers. I like it. And a heart. See, she's got a heart too.
A purple heart. She gonna bruise our hearts?
No.
Or is she gonna give us the Purple Heart Award?
I don't know. Did you get injured in combat? Don't go for stolen
I don't know,
valor,
man. You
dude.
keep talking to Cherry like that and keep messing with Cherry, you're gonna end
I
up
almost got crushed by a couch.
Well, that's not the same thing.
Pushed over by someone who wasn't looking.
Well, was it during wartime?
Maybe. It was an armored couch.
You didn't miss it, Chloe. I mean, I don't think so. I just showed up.
I mean, I've been live for like 2.5 hours.
Damn.
It didn't even feel like 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
That's when you know it's a good live.
We spent a lot of time trying to understand Amanda's story. I mean, that was like there was a lot going on there.
I didn't get to hear it, so I have no idea. I'll have to rewatch.
Man, it was a mess. It was a mess. Yeah, it was.
I guess that
totally
must have been couch tipping.
Yeah, it was totally crazy.
Well, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen. Every day it seems like something new. It's popping off.
Calm down, darling Nikki. Calm down. Let's get your let's put an ice pack on your vag there, okay, young lady.
Oh my.
Yeah, Darling Nikki always goes in heat when she's in my chat. Always.
I think your other wives are going to be so upset. You can't talk around. You can't talk around him like about this.
No, I don't imagine Tom Riddle. I agree with you. I don't imagine Mexican jail is where Michael wants to be right now. Absolutely,
I don't
not.
think Michael wants to be in jail at all. But I don't.
Nope.
But I do think that he will do what needs to be done in order to get.
I think he did. I think he
in
should.
The spotlight, and I think. I mean, he had to know that going over the corrupt Mexican border was a stupid move.
It had to.
It's very stupid.
Dude,
So
anybody who goes to a different country illegally,
he knows that
it's dumb.
You are
There's
more
no
likely
way that
to
was
get
going to
pulled
end
over
okay.
for bullshit in Mexico than any other place. So why would you even if the marshals didn't know he was there? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know how long he was there. I don't know any of those details. But if he'd been there a day or 6 weeks or a week, I don't know. But he had to know, and that's why I'm saying I feel like he did that on purpose.
Well, look at here. This is actually a great point. Pandified just said he could get a jury trial this way. Maybe that was his strategy.
Oh,
ultimate
I
plan.
didn't know that. Could he really?
I mean, I don't know.
It could be his master
I don't know.
plan.
I mean, if that's the case,
because then he's got to be charged formally with the interference in child custody, I guess.
And he has a mountain of evidence that he can present if that's the case. So maybe that was his plan all along. You know,
that's a risky
he's a
plan,
smart guy.
but yeah.
I agree with you. He is a smart guy.
That's a risky plan, I'll tell you that.
It's super ballsy.
Because if it don't go his way, he might be doing some time he don't want to do.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Well, I'm gonna hop down. But I'm sad I missed the story. I'll have to rewatch.
Master plan, Jerry.
Well,
a master plan. You should always have.
Oh, thank you. I'm trying to. I was working late, and I'm like, I need to decompress. So.
What do you think I was saying, Cherry?
Oh wait, what? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. What? Mr. Harland was too busy talking to Cherry.
Courtney was very smart. Courtney was very good at doing research, but Courtney's also very good at acting like a complete and total fool on social media and straight lying. I mean, Paige, come on. Do you believe for 1 second that Michael trained Sophie with a rifle and told her to shoot at
no one would do that
after her?
I see. Okay, so I don't know who said that, but I've heard that. I know that
Courtney said it.
Okay, Courtney said that because I heard that
you don't teach your daughter to do that.
Ashley Hurdle, Penguin said
Nobody
that
does.
He said he taught her how to shoot.
No one should be.
And I mean, my dad taught me how to shoot.
They're Texans, so it's not uncommon for somebody to teach their kid how to use it.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I learned how to shoot when I was 8. So
sure.
Yeah,
sure.
But
I'm not saying
I
that.
don't think that about.
But I don't
going
think
after
that he. Yeah, I don't think that
police.
she was instructed to fire at cops.
Light up the police. Good God.
Yeah. What,
I would think if that was the case. I would think if that was the case. Well, they probably didn't take weapons to Mexico because that would be really dumb. So never mind.
Oh God.
Yeah, like you're not gonna cross the border with guns, dude. Come on, man. Like. Yeah, it's stupid. Like Courtney is just totally out of her mind at this point. Like she was already like, kind of loopy, and now with this happening, and then I mean that post, it's like she's accepting an award or something, and you're like, dude,
I just know. Listen, I've listened to the sand drawing video or recording when Sophie came out of sleep, wanting to tell something to them. And Courtney did a lot of leading questions. I mean, the one that I remember the most was when she said she sat on Uncle Dan's lap and Courtney immediately said, "Were you wearing underwear?" Why would you ask her that?
Yeah.
Why the hell would you ask someone that?
Right.
That's none of your business if they're wearing underwear or not.
I've said it 1,000 times. I'll say it again, and I'll say it 1,000 more times. If Sophie was coached, the person who coached Sophie was Courtney, not Michael. if she was coached, and I don't believe she was coached.
I don't know
believe
if
that she was
coached or
led.
she was more like led into believing,
Right.
like, you know,
I
like
believe
that maybe
I believe she was led to
something
say
worse
certain
happened than
things.
it did, or
I
like, I
believe
don't
she was
know.
led to say certain things by Courtney while she was videotaping her. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, and I don't know what really happened. I just know that she was terrified to go home. And even if it was just domestic violence, that's enough of a reason for some kids.
Right.
Right. And as we can tell from, I guess, you know, I tuned in a little bit the other day when you're reading the affidavits from Kelly and Jake. Like, there was problems. There's severe problems, you know, so
Major problems. It is not an environment suitable for children. I mean, there was enough evidence coming from her mouth.
Right.
You know, coming from her and in a sworn deposition that indicate that it's not a safe environment. All those 911 calls, that's not a safe environment for kids. And already this dude was arrested for DV and
QAnon.
And their child got hurt.
Yeah. I mean, he's not a good guy, you know, and that's
no, he's not.
Matter.
And Kelly's not a good woman. She's just not. I mean, I don't care what anybody says. Anybody who advocates for a guy like that to be around their own kids.
Packing.
I think, but here's the same thing. At the same token, I'm just going to say this real quick. Like, at the same token, Michael's very codependent on Courtney, right? So you've got Michael being very codependent on Courtney, Kelly being very codependent on Jake. They're very codependent people. Therefore, like, I mean, if Courtney was asking very leading questions and said a lot more to the nurses that were it was outrageous. And I just feel like if Courtney and Jake never got into the picture, I feel like they would have been able to continue to co-parent.
Courtney could have easily done just as much damage as she did help when it came to.
I think she did way more damage.
I think she did, because look at what she's doing
now. She came through like a tornado.
She tried to say that Michael was teaching the boys how to molest the Phoenix and, you know, and all that stuff to.
No, and she told me on a phone conversation the opposite. She's just trying to get back at him because she's got her own divorce coming up.
It's just ridiculous. Like, who does that stuff?
Yeah, like, she's
totally psycho and has been manipulative.
I think that Kelly and Michael both love their children. I just think that they got too wrapped up in the relationships that they were in. I mean, like, you always want to believe that your parent is going to protect you from somebody, but if there's some severe, like, other issues, like relationship issues, abandonment issues, mental health issues, doesn't always work out that way, you know, unfortunately. So even if it's just DV or if it's SA or whatever, or manipulation on either side, both parents failed in that way, right?
Oh, because completely. Everyone failed Sophie.
Yeah.
Everyone failed Sophie. And it's really sad.
It is. And I just hope that for whatever, because I know everybody was celebrating when Michael got arrested. They thought it was exciting. And all I could think about was how upset and terrified she was going to be, because she's, despite it being a bad environment for her. Come on, Sola.
Who's Chloe Joe? Is Chloe Joe Captain Napton?
No. Chloe's a different person. She's Chloe Joe. She's one of my mods.
She's one of your mods? Oh, I'm blocking her right now. I'm just kidding.
Poor Chloe.
I see my wife is in here under a new handle.
What is it? Oh, I forgot what it's called. I just saw it the other day.
Semi-savage.
Semi-savage. She's only semi-savage right now.
Yeah, that's because I disarm her with my charm.
Your wife?
Yeah.
Snap.
She's my wife.
That's what he says.
That's nice.
Yeah, I know, Chloe Joe. I know.
Is that Michael Long in a test tube for that person's picture? I can't even tell. I have it also on the TV, the stream, and it looks like Michael Long in a test tube. I couldn't even tell you. I tell you, people have been trolling me over my picture. I heard the last person I deleted of a comment was someone saying it looked like a guy got smacked in the face with a red hot frying pan, and then they tried to fix his face, but then screwed it up to the point where it looks like a bad animated cartoon.
What? That's what somebody said about yours?
Yeah.
Cappy says, no, I'm under account number 7. Cappy Capone number 7. I love her. She's
Why do you need 7 accounts?
Because you
bro?
blocked her on 6 others. Duh.
Well, if she wasn't acting like an asshole in my chat, she wouldn't have got blocked.
Oh,
I mean,
shit.
I don't go around just blocking people just to block them, man. Like,
No,
you're
neither do
You
I.
were drinking too much oak leaf one night and you're like, fuck that Cappy. How does she keep coming back in here?
probably.
See? Well, we know how it is. All right, well, I'm going to hop down. We'll see what happens with the case. I don't know. I mean, really, right now, all we know is what little pieces everybody's putting out and a lot of speculation. So,
that's all I see.
I mean, yeah, like it's nice and quiet kind of right now. Like, I mean,
especially with one of my favorite childhood games.
It's been blowing up.
Oh, really? Yeah. I mean,
not
I
me,
know.
Not me, because I've been busy. It's not been blowing up for me, thank God. But I've seen others.
Yeah. Queen Bee went live for like 6 hours celebrating that Michael went to jail. Michael's in jail. That's what she sounds like to me.
They've kept lots of things quiet here in Missouri. The thing I never hear about anymore is the Westlake landfill fire. They've been keeping that quiet for so long. It's like, did they put it out?
What the fuck are you talking about?
I don't even know what we're talking about. See, I don't even know about it.
Well, a long time ago, there was this big fire at a landfill. It was underground. And the problem was they found radioactive material buried. And they thought if that fire hits it, where I live and the whole area surrounding it is going to get irradiated.
Have you just doxed yourself?
No.
No.
Oh, okay.
I probably have.
Come on.
I probably could have, but yeah.
I mean, I don't know. That's a very specific area that you just said and a very specific thing.
You'd have to find me.
Well,
you'd have to get the greatest.
I mean, these people in YouTube streets are relentless. I'll tell you. They'll try if they need to.
For real.
Oh, I've seen it. It's crazy enough.
I'm going to decompress. You guys have a wonderful night, and I will talk to you later.
All right. See you later, Paige. Thanks.
Bye.
All right. Let's see. Since the McClare days, what the hell is McClare? I don't even know what that is. Yeah, I can't believe there's still 130 people in here, and it's like 12:30. I started watching Yellowstone, man.
Oh, Yellowstone.
Yeah, man. I'm kind of bummed today. I had a friends with benefits, really, really hot girl too, man. And she dumped me because she says that dude, the sex was amazing. Like, you know how hard that is to find? Lightning in a bottle, man. And she dumped me because she says that our interactions are interfering with her walk with God. Well, and I was like, what? I mean, it's kind of supposed to. You know what I mean? Like, what we're doing is not exactly holy. You know,
I guess I must be unholy if I talk about burglars.
I mean, dude. Like, I'm heartbroken only because I'm like, wait a minute. So this is over because it's good? What? Because it's too fantastic. It was it's over? What? How does that work? How does that happen? Like, yeah, man, it was really, really disappointing, man. Like
Siren Jag is saying, you must have been interfering with her walking.
Yeah,
that's a sin you committed, a capital sin. Burn in hell, you must.
I mean, dude, you should have seen her butt, dude. This thing, like it was like Salma Hayek level. It was amazing. And yeah, man,
I watched someone at work
such a bummer,
she just walked in with all her stuff hanging out, and yet she turned out to be a Karen. She was hot, but she was a Karen. complaining to the manager saying, "You're going to do this to me. You're going to do this for me. You're going to do this. You're going to do that." We literally almost had to call the cops on her because she started breaking stuff. I have never seen someone so hot.
No, this
doing that
girl
crazy
was
shit.
this girl's totally together, man. You know, like my whole thing, the only reason like I had you know, I think what it was is she was starting to catch feels, and like I'm not the dude to
Figure out
do
who you
that
were.
with. I'm not the dude to do that with, man. Like I'm, you know, I ain't got no money. You know, I can't be in a relationship. You know what I mean? I ain't got no money. You know, like I can't like take people out on dates and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Literally the only thing that I'm good for is sex. This is literally the only thing I'm good for when it comes to like that type of interaction with somebody. And so like, yeah. And I think what happened was, you know, I just did not live up to her standards for a relationship, which was understandable. And I was upfront about that from the start. She was like, "I'm not looking for anything serious anyway." And I was like, cool. But then inevitably, when things are as good as they are, and we got along great too, you know, like we just liked hanging out with each other. And I think that's what happened. She was just like, well, you know, I want to actually like do stuff. And, you know, this dude's not going to be able to like do that. So, you know,
I was never serious. I was never too serious into being in a relationship either.
I'm telling you, it's a curse. It's a curse.
Like, it's a curse with me. Certainly.
Well, I wasn't with her, Steph. Like that was the whole thing. And we hung out like, oh God. Yeah. Okay, Cherry. Stop. Okay. Hold on. There's officially Glare merch now. You can buy it. The link is in the description.
I have action figures as well.
And Cherry is posting the link. Like we have Meth Gator and stuff and t-shirts and hoodies and coffee mugs and phone covers and blah blah blah. Dude, but you're all the way in Canada, dude. And I'm telling you, darling Nikki, green-eyed lady, she could totally get it. She could totally.
Canada's beautiful.
Yeah, but she's all the way in Canada. Like, if you want to fly me out there, I'll fly out there for darling Nikki.
I could watch any of their sports teams.
Like, darling Nikki's hot, man. I would burn her down. Absolutely. Men's mental health awareness. Well, I mean,
a good idea.
That is a good idea. I'd like to have a mental health professional on here. You know, Cherry, you know I don't give a shit about dating. Cherry knows I don't give a shit about dating. Like I'm old, man. Like I just don't care.
They say Gen Z is old. And here I thought millennials were old as well. Good Lord. I have an uncle who's a millennial. And it's like, Jesus Christ.
Road King, you're right. You're right. I mean, you know, we'll definitely do something like that. But I want to make sure that
nobody ever does talk about it.
I want to make sure that I have I want to make sure I have a mental health professional on panel with me. So, you know, somebody who actually knows what they're talking about.
Do you have a shirt that says you got to use your eyes?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, good.
Yeah, definitely. We got that. And Semi-Savage, yeah, I know dating sucks. That's why we skipped right to the wedding. That's why we just straight up just got married. That's what happened. We haven't even consummated it yet.
Forget the middle stuff. We're going straight to marriage.
We haven't even consummated it yet.
We're gonna wing it.
Yeah, that's, you know, but that's what would happen. She'd want a divorce right away because I would burn her down too. Burning everybody down. Let's see. So y'all had sexed up, but she was like, "I don't think you are relationship material," and you were like, "Yep, I'm only good for Smexy." Pretty much. But it's like messed up because I was like, man, like stop being silly. You know what I'm saying? Like you want this to be over because it's good? What's wrong with you?
Queen Victoria. Good Lord. If I remember correctly from history class, I think Queen Victoria is the one monarch from the UK, if I'm not correct, who's had the most assassination attempts against them in history. Like 60, 16 at best, and she survived them all.
Okay. That's pretty crazy.
I don't know. The Siren Jack brought up something about God and Queen Victoria, and I was like, oh.
Who knows what the hell Siren Jack's talking about? I got nothing but the craziest people in my chat all the time. Just got people talking nonsense in my chat. Got people on my panel talking nonsense right now. Mr. Harland. Y'all are crazy. All y'all. That's only because I attract that because I'm fucking crazy.
You must be a crazy magnet then.
That's what I am, dude. I'm a crazy magnet. Totally.
Why are you not a history magnet?
I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, I mean, I kind of am. Every girl that I end up seeing ends up being history. Whoa.
She never.
No, Margot.
I know she never does.
Now we're just talking crap. We're not even talking about nothing. Like now we're just talking crap.
Anytime, I know my mother watches you, but anytime she looks on here, she'll go, "Who is this man? He looks familiar. Is he a former sports player?" And I was like, "No, this is just a dude who gets on here, has a fun time." And then every now and then, whenever she sees a thing about you with Colton, she'll say, "Oh, he's very handsome." It's like anytime she sees a younger dude, she'll be like, he's hot. She's literally joked about wanting to and I've seen
Do I
this.
want to hear this?
Oh, it depends.
Is this gonna make me uncomfortable? Your
No,
mom?
not at all.
Like
no. We're talking about sports people.
Oh, okay. I was going to
people
say
I've got to meet. Well, no, she hasn't said anything about you, but she said something about the one guy. Oh God.
I'm not trying to be Mr. Harland stepdaddy. Not...
No. You don't need that. You don't need that.
No.
But I've got to meet people from my hockey team. I never got to see Schwartz. Well, technically James Schwartz. I got to meet him. I got to meet him outside. What happened was we're at the place. I'm starting to get sick, and my dad's got to try and get me out. I almost face plant in there, and James Schwartz at the time was on crutches, and he was like, "Hey, is that kid all right?" And I was like, my dad was like, "Yeah, he's all right. He's just not feeling well." And that was the only interaction I had with the dude. I never got to have a picture with him, but my mom did. And she's like, I wish I could pinch his butt. He's so beautiful. I was like, "Mom, why?" And she would joke around all the time. It's like she never really meant it, but she has a way with joking around. And I'm like, well, if you really think they're beautiful, that's fine. But don't do that. And she would always embarrass me in front of my friends anytime.
Don't go, Kelsey.
Especially if it was a girl. Yeah, she would embarrass me. But
my brother and me used to watch wrestling on Sunday afternoons or Sunday mornings in my mom's room with her. And she would see Lance Von Erich, and she'd be like, "He can eat crackers in my bed anytime." I'd be like, "Okay, Mom. All right."
Harland.
I was 10. Oh, man. All right. That's it. I'm calling it.
I got to sleep.
All right. Mr. Harland, thank you, sir. Appreciate you, buddy.
Hey, no problem.
Have a good night.
And don't forget one thing. You all gotta use your eyes and let's go Blues.
Let's go Blues. I'm with that. All right, man. Have a good night. All right. So, yeah, I guess it just remains to be seen, guys. It remains to be seen what's going to happen with Sophie moving forward. I'm really, really, I'm extra concerned at this point. I really hope that she doesn't end up back with Kelly. You know, my pipe dream is that, you know, a family steps up and gets an attorney and tries to file for custody and tries to adopt. But I just, you know, that's, like I said, it's a pipe dream. I don't, you know, it's pretty unrealistic probably, but I'd like to see other options. But yeah, darling Nikki, I'm telling you, anytime. Anyway, but I appreciate everybody being here, man, and I appreciate all the super chats. And if you're don't forget, if you want Galera merch, it is available. Wow. Let me see. What? I'm gonna have to go back and watch from the beginning. Someone plowed into a power line 3 blocks away. So yeah, oh, that's a bummer. But yeah, man. Oh, parents step up. No, that ship has sailed, Jessica Moon. That ship has sailed. Anyways, all right, guys. I love you very much. I appreciate y'all. And we will do this again very soon, my friends.